Everybody feel it, come around with the rhythm, it's a sound, everybody get down. Everybody feel it, come around with the rhythm, it's a sound, everybody get down when we give it to you. Around with the rhythm, it's a sound, the rhythm, it's a sound, with the rhythm, it's a sound, the rhythm, it's a sound. Get down, come on, get down. Get down, come on, get down. Get down, come on, get down.
memories we made under the summer sun. Chasing after waves, a taste of berries on my tongue. Sipping on a feeling, sunny's got me healing, vibing out to your guitar. I don't wanna go yet, watch another sunset, wishing on a shooting star. Ooh, I know that it has to end. Ooh, maybe we could just pretend. borderline chaos with a pinch of salt. While the ceremony's about to start, I caught you red-handed. I see you in the dark, beside the bonfire, warmed by the flame. Feed me the instructions while you're tossing me in. If I could, I would get myself out this mess. If I could, I would get myself out this madness. If I could, I would get myself out this mess. If I could, I would get myself out this madness.
On my block, in this cock, mask on my face. Hesitate to give me some, I'ma catch a murder case. On my block, in this cock, mask on my face. Hesitate to give me some, I'ma catch a murder case.
Dirty on the clock when I get guap, whipping on the scene when I get clean, wheel on the beat, on me, that's it, not a mean to take the key, when I mean I take the key, when I mean I get dirty on the clock when I get guap, whipping on the scene when I get clean, wheel on the beat, on me, that's it, not a mean to take the key, when I mean I take the key, when I mean I get
On my block, in this cock, mask on my face. Hesitate to give me some, I'ma catch a murder case. On my block, in this cock, mask on my face. Hesitate to give me some, I'ma catch a murder case.
dirty on the clock when I get guap, whipping on the scene when I get clean, wheel on the beat, on me, that's it, not a mean to take the key, when I mean I take the key, when I mean I get dirty on the clock when I get guap, whipping on the scene when I get clean, wheel on the beat, on me, that's it, not a mean to take the key, when I mean I take the key, when I mean I get This for the players out there. Check out this dope shit, man.
Payers another dollar, we getting paid. Another day, another dollar, living in the bay. Hustling for my baby, trying to pay in my escape. I ain't staying in the matrix, really trying to get my papers.
We welcome back, everybody, to some more Free Fire here in the Arena Esports tournament, powered by Atislab by EN, as well as our strategic partner AD Gaming. My name is Seymour. We got me, Watt, joining us in a bit, but for now, I get to carry you guys through the intro to this show. We got our Invitational number 2, everybody, and I couldn't be more excited because running it back with Free Fire after seeing our monthly finals, we got a fresh, brand new batch of teams that are looking to qualify once again for our second monthly final, and it's going to be a fun one. It's going to be a fun one for sure. Last time it was action-packed with a lot of chaos as we were traversing through these qualifiers, and we still have plenty more to come as well. Not only this second qualifier, but we got a third qualifier and our fourth qualifier as things carry forward into the monthly finals, as things carry forward into the playoffs, as they carry forward to the championship finals on LAN. We'll take a look at that more when we look at these tournament roadmaps, but for today, it's going to be a fun one. We got another batch of 32 teams that are looking to get through this Invitational. If you don't place here, is the road, like I was saying, more qualifiers to come, even those open qualifiers to lead into the monthly finals later on down the line in October, maybe even November. So for now, folks, as we get ready to look at these teams, we get ready to look towards the tournament roadmap and all of that jazz. It's going to be a fun time today, and I couldn't be more excited to carry you through. So I hope you guys are all ready for some Free Fire action. I hope you guys are all ready for some fire matches, and I hope you guys are showing some love to our sponsors as well. Arena Esports powering this tournament, powered by Atislab by EN, our strategic partner AD Gaming for putting this on. Could it be more, happy with what they've been doing, not only along the lines of Free Fire, but for tournaments like PUBG, for CSGO, for Dota 2, all the tournaments that they've been hosting under their Arena Esports tournament throughout these past couple of months and for the months to come. It's been a good time, for sure. So go show some love to them. Go show some love to Atislab by EN for Arena Esports, the tournaments. Here's our tournament roadmap that I was mentioning last month. We saw the first Invitational qualifier where 7 teams qualified into our monthly finals Q1. Outside of just those Invitational qualifiers, we had open qualifiers where another batch of teams qualified for the monthly finals. We got to see a team, or at least 5 teams, move in towards the playoffs off of that one. And today we're going to be hopping into the highlighted Invitational qualifier for our second batch of qualifiers. If you don't place here, like I was saying, you do have another chance at those open qualifiers coming up later on down the line. That will not be streamed. We only stream the Invitational qualifiers and the monthly qualifiers for now. And our monthly qualifiers, too, will be another batch of 15 teams where our, I say, second to 5th team will move into the playoffs. Our first team from each monthly finals auto qualifies for the grand finals. So I know it can be a little bit confusing looking at all that. I know it can be a little bit jarring sometimes, but whoever goes from here goes into the monthly qualifiers. First place into the monthly qualifiers goes into the grand finals. Second to 5th moves into playoffs, and there is going to be a last chance qualifier for those playoffs as well. So plenty of chances to make it into the playoffs and plenty of chances to make it over towards the land. For today, we got $1,500 prize pool, $1,300 in cash, and $200 worth of Arena Esports points. So you get to look for first, second, and third place leading into that cash prize. And then I'd say, no, it looks like first, second, third, and fourth leading into that cash prize. And then fifth and sixth place will be that Arena Esports points for the teams to take away. So a lot more than just qualifiers on the line for today. It is also, a batch of money to go with a lot of these teams. So you're looking at your first to sixth place teams to walk away with a little bit extra outside of this tournament. Seventh place obviously will also qualify to the monthly finals, but they will not, qualify to get any of the points or the cash prize. And it is going to be a tough one for sure for a lot of these teams looking to make that happen. Some teams, you might be familiar with. Some players you might be familiar with as well when we do get to look at them qualifying once again or being invited back from that first qualifier that we did see, maybe even the open qualifiers and the monthly finals if you were tuning in for that one. And if you weren't able to, check out those first monthly qualifiers, if you weren't able to check out those first invitationals, then welcome to our Arena Esports tournament powered by Tislat by EN. Welcome to some extra free fire, and I hope you get to enjoy meeting these teams and learning these teams as we go about our day, because it is going to be a fun one. Like I said, you can never go about a free fire tournament without expecting a little bit of chaos, a little bit of fun, and for here, obviously, a little bit of cash prize to go for these top 6 teams that we're going to be looking at. We do have Miwa joining in with us in a short bit. It looks like they're just getting set up, so you're not going to have to just listen to me all day long. It seems like Miwa is here. Welcome to the desk. How are you feeling? You ready for some free fire?
I've been listening to you catch up on the prize pools as well, and very similar prize pool across the other tournaments. I did Dota 2 here yesterday at Arena Esports, and it was pretty riveting to watch. And we have the schedule coming up here, and what can you tell me? What's been going down so far? What have you mentioned so far?
So far, I've just been hyping up the teams, hyping up the qualifiers, the process, and the journey that we're going to be going down. And the prize pool, for sure, is going to be something to look at. But to get that prize pool, you got to go through the schedule. And we get 3 different maps: Purgatory, Bermuda, Alpine. We get to go back to Purgatory and Bermuda. It seems like having, that double dose of Purgatory and Bermuda is going to be a good one, because although Alpine is very nice, it is very, I'd say vertical, and a lot of the terrain it does have. Bermuda, very standard. Purgatory, it's chaotic, it's fun, and it leads for a lot of potential upsets when it comes down to the map, because it is generally a smaller map than others. So a lot of teams who might be falling behind heading into that 4th map will have a chance for some upset, for a chance to garner a lot of kills next to the placings, and it's going to be fun when we do get through that. So looking at the point system, we get our first place team will get 12 points, second place will get 9 points, third place 8. And then as we go down from 4th place all the way to 11th to 15th, where you won't be getting any points, you got to look towards these placings for the point system to really elevate you to that next level, Miwa. And on top of everything, like I say, for Purgatory, 1 elimination equals 1 point. So those eliminations will also bring you a long way today.
Yeah, the point system is... It's so good across every Battle Royale game. I think this is one of my favorite parts about watching Battle Royales, is watching teams try and find that in-between between trying to place high and try to get high amounts of elims to rack up the points. And especially on a game like this, and where you're playing mobile gaming and people are sitting there with completely different settings, and it's a whole new world, I think, that opens up, especially when you're looking at shooters. So those 12 points for coming first place do look pretty tempting, if I might say so myself, having all the other sort of numbers only jumping up by 1, but a 3-point extra for getting first place. I think that's going to be a huge amount of contention in this game.
It's definitely going to be different to see if teams can go back to back in their wins, because if you could go back to back in wins, get maybe 24 points just off of the placing system, that's going to boost you a little bit for sure. Considering there's only 5 maps to be played, there won't be a lot of time, as we do reach that 3rd map into the 4th map to make that comeback if you are sitting towards the bottom of the leaderboard. But for now, we can move into what we're looking at for the teams. We got ARC Team, Black PP, as well as Fantastic Four, Great Wall, Icon, INS Team, or INS Team. I want to say Nagaba, Esports, Olympia, Predator GG, Rebels, Savage, Shift, Stars DZ, The Leaders, and X Shooter. So these teams are going to be looking to join us in our Invitational qualifier for today. A couple of them might be moving into our monthly finals, but you got to show up today and show out, Miwa.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to be shown by these teams, and I think especially when you're looking at qualifiers or you're looking to try and get into those monthly finals, this is where you need to show your mettle. This is where players, especially individually, need to start showing their strengths, because this is the game. These are the games that everyone's going to look at in those monthly finals. Everyone's going to look at those games and be like, what was the strategies? What team is comfortable on Bermuda, for instance? What team prefers playing for Booyahs rather than Elims? And especially trying to come up with those counters. So these games are going to be watched over and watched over again by future teams in those monthly finals. So it is so important. And this is what I was saying yesterday, is when you've got so much further to go in the tournament. You don't want to give away too much. You don't want to give away too many strategies. You don't want to, I guess, allow enemies to predict you going forward. So as much as these teams want to win, they also don't want to show all the cards in their hand too early, because it could mean that they may be going to get, I guess, predicted earlier, especially if they're playing for Booyahs, if they're playing for a high placement spot, then potentially routes or even hiding places on some of the maps that might be spotted out in these games.
That's a great point to be looking at. How are you going to play? Are you going to show everything up front, or are you going to hold back? I think for a lot of teams, it kind of comes down to, do you have the ability to do something like that? Can you, hold out on showing all your strats, play in for, maybe the slaying potential that you're going to be seeing for a lot of these members, and, play for those placings right away, overwhelm, power, bully your way into that booyah, whatever you want to do. Or maybe you want to, hold out for the later on down the line and make that late tournament resurgence when nobody's expecting you to kind of show up. It's not a lot of turnover time for that, Miwa, so I'd be a little bit, worried if teams, start falling behind, and then, towards game 3, they're like, okay, let's step up. Alpine might be your more preferred map. The fact that we're seeing 3 different maps today might lead to 3 different playstyles for a lot of teams. There's so many options to be looking at, when it comes down to what these teams might be bringing today for our second monthly qualifier.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. And I mean, this is the second of 4, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. Which, we've still got a good way to go. And especially, like you were saying, with so many maps like this, really does open up all these different playstyles, and these teams have so much they can play around with, and with so many maps ahead of them as well, these early games are actually not going to make as much of an impact as the later maps. And I actually think that a lot of these early maps might just be the players sort of feeling out what the competition is like, and seeing what kind of level that they're going to be playing at, the kind of cards like we were talking about that they want to show. And I don't think we're actually going to see as explosive game 1 and game 2, but I think in those later games, once the teams become more confident, and especially when teams are at that point where it's maybe not looking like they're going to win, but with a really big game they could, and so they aim for like a sort of 10 Elim Booyah or something like that, just so they can get through to those monthly qualifiers, those monthly finals, and try and win it all. We could see some really explosive final 2 maps tonight.
It's really close contention. I feel like that's what the people would want. Some close competition, some very tight game plays going in towards the end. I mean, we are going to a purgatory map number 1, so I think more often than not, you can expect to go to a purgatory with a smaller map. It leads to less, open POIs for teams to drop to, more hot drops and contentions right off the bat, which means that teams might have to fight their way through the start of this game and try to look for those eliminations. It's going to be one of those last last one standings kind of map that we're looking at for Purgatory, where you want to start off strong, you don't want to fall behind. We get to take a look at that mini map on the right and see exactly how small it generally is. But hopping on with Nagba right away, our first team to look to drop into Campsite on stream. It's going to be a fun one, Miwa, and I am looking forward to the journey that is ahead of us.
Oh yes, so am I. Watching these teams drop in, it's always so tense, especially when you know that a lot of these teams surprisingly aren't dropping too close to each other. But there is a few, we're sort of seeing blue and dark green in the bottom left there dropping dangerously close to each other, which honestly, I mean, do you think we're going to see any of this early action of a loot?
Oh, I thought for a second that, maybe Nagaba had somebody on them, and it doesn't seem like that is going to be the case. But you take a look at the top right, already a couple teams looking to go down. Lots of hot drops on this one. Kill leader coming in the form of INS Esports, already starting to take a few names. SVG finding a couple kills as well. Savage looking to show up already right off the bat. So many members are falling, and so many members are now going to have to look to just try to stay alive and try to bring their team back. But it looks like Savages has got a full wipe on PTR, and already starting off good for game number 1 in Purgatory.
Yeah, a team wipe this early on, that's gotta hurt. If you're sitting there and you're playing first game of the tournament, your confidence must be shattered after that, as now continuing more and more kills being eliminated and coming through. And it's crazy having so many, I guess you could just say, really deaths this early on in the game. And here we go, we're going into one of the fights now as Meta fought off, against a few members, but either way, it looks like there's backup on both sides, as GW Pixel also playing around that rock. And surprisingly, these fights are being taken quite slowly, and especially when you've got that early loot, you maybe want to play off those larger loot advantages. But either way, it looks like the teams don't want to take too many risks, as I mentioned earlier.
No, you don't want to take those risks, especially if you don't get that early loot. You can see that GW has such a great start to this one. Meta's going to find a kill too for GW, so already 2 eliminations for this team, but very hesitant to chase after these remaining players, because in their main POI, it does look like INS are also populating this area. So you gotta be careful not to get a little too ahead of themselves, leave somebody unchecked, and then maybe unfortunately get dropped just like that. Hard from INS is going to be able to eliminate PXL from GW, hiding in a corner. And I think that's still a couple kills for INS to walk to. Vector is going to swing around the corner. Not going to be able to get a second kill for INS just yet. A little bit of revenge for your fallen comrade as GW continues to collect eliminations.
I mean, GW surrounded by walls as well, but now looking like they're going to get against on Stars, trying to make a bit of an entrance on this, trying to get some more pressure, I suppose, here. But INS, the kill leaders earlier on, and maybe now not looking like the most amazing situation, as it's left down to Harduno, I believe, to try and pull this through. Stars does get 1 kill across on the other side of the map, but INS now looks like they're going to get game ended a little bit. Bit of a... I had high hopes after seeing the kill leader, and now it's not looking so hot.
No, that's just the way that Battle Royale sometimes go. It's just 1 second you're on top of the world, the next second you're getting triple swung by 2 different teams, and you just cannot stand to stay alive. Gerard in a little bit of a mix here. Sky in a 1v1. Does look like having to dance around these walls is going to be a tough time, but some good damage there from the nade is going to finish up that play around the corner. Elimination for Gerard as we head over towards Icon, where it is seeing like they are getting also contested by GW. Inside the logs, Icon, they have to just try to stay alive. They're pinched by PXL, so not a great place to be in. The swing from GW is going to collect a kill, looking for a little bit more, but hasn't come just yet.
I mean, maybe it has, as now we're losing players left, right, and center as this game goes on, and it continues to be the case. It honestly looks like right now GW seem to really be kind of owning the map, as well. It doesn't seem like they even coming close to losing some of these fights that they're taking. So it's really nice to be able to see that, and especially now we can see Ark sitting in the zone for a second here. I'm assuming maybe trying to look for the kills across here, but RL maybe not taking the bait, as they're going to be quite far away. This is going to be a big distance to catch up from.
Yeah. Walking you through the storm for now isn't going to be too crazy, as it's just the first one closing in. So you have that ability to, wait, heal up with the rest of your team, and rotate late into the circle. But you are also kind of forced into an area that if you are going to be rotating late, especially from the bottom side of the map, you see that GW is already going to be there. Savage is already going to be there. Nagaba just ahead of GW as well. You could have the possibility to be gate capped now. Purgatory doesn't lead too much to be desired on this map. You are expecting action right off the bat, and now that the action is starting to die down, if you're caught in a storm, you face that pressure of not making it back out because of other teams that are also fighting for that space.
Yeah, and we're actually maybe seeing some of them meet there on the along the bottom. Could maybe see some action going across there. At least some heals are coming through, so people are being brought back into the game finally, after it was looking like a very bloodthirsty early part of the game. Finally being able to see that come through now, as they could have continued seeing that storm, but like you were saying, being late does give you the advantage of, you're going to get potentially even a higher placement, or even some picks as well as you're moving in to gain some more points. But at the same time, you run this risk where now you're potentially being caught off in the storm, as Ark go through. Key for kill, getting a nice little double kill there to end out the storm. GW going for a triple as well, and GW continue to look like they're dominating this game.
They do. So many kills for GW, 8 eliminations, but they've lost a couple of members. It's down to AO and MENA right now to walk away from this, and RL, who just resurrected the rest of their team. They're going to be 4 members strong to fight this one out. So GW fighting inside of the storm, seeing if they can also resurrect their teammates and get back to full strength. But I like that RL aren't just giving them this space, not giving them that ability to do so. So that is forcing GW into a very uncomfortable spot as we're heading in towards Savage, who have 6 eliminations for their own right after a strong start. They are also just on the outside of Lumber Mill, facing a chance to gatekeep RL as well as GW. But while this was going down, Miwa, we did have a team drop out of the map. It was ARC. That last finish off was the full team getting eliminated, so they're gonna have to look at game 2 to see if they can step up a little bit better.
Yeah, I mean, to be eliminated this early on, it's a huge demoralizer, I suppose, especially because it's going to be a massive kick to the confidence. And I mean, SVG now looking to take a fight into RL here as they start to get a bit of an open up. They get that kill into Pippo, which is going to be super nice. Simoxa looking like he's going to have to try and back off here and regroup, but there's no one to regroup with, as SVG now taking that fight further. Walls are going to go down, trying to move around, gets a few bits of extra damage, and now it's looking like RL are in an especially bad situation. Double kill coming through, and further getting these kill points. And honestly, I feel like we're starting to see a handful of teams that are going to leave this game 1, this map 1, with what was that? What an incredible shot to close out that and eliminate RL from this game.
Yeah, that's a huge kill onto Rebels, who look to be in a great spot after bringing the rest of the team back. Doesn't seem like Savage are done just there. Player on this loot crate. We naded out, half damage. Second nade's going to be good. The third one is going to be a kill. The grenade launcher from Crack doing the most work as he goes nuclear for that one. Another kill for Savage to reach 9 eliminations here at the beginning of Purgatory. Already looking like one of the teams to possibly shoot up the leaderboard right away.
Yeah, no, what an incredible, just open it. I mean, they had so many kills, and again, it just feels like it almost looks easy for them. That was just so good. And when you're looking when you look at some of the other elims of the other teams that are in this game, it's not even close. Like, we're seeing GW with quite a good amount of elims as well, and they do finally get those revives, which is going to be super nice for them. Now, revive stations wise, there's only one that's not in the storm, so it's going to be huge contentions to be able to go for those revives, especially this late in the game, when if you can't get a full squad going into those final circles, it's going to look especially bad as SVG continue to pick up more kills.
Yeah, SVG just seem unstoppable, Miwa. Full res, though, back for one of these teams. You do see Savage get yet another knock there onto INS. Harduno, who's brought back after that unfortunate finish towards Lumberyard, might be looking to dip out again early on. So 11 eliminations now for the side of Savage. INS just on the outside looking in of this point of POI, but a couple teams populating this one as now Icon are moving into this area. Shift are losing members to PTR. Plenty of people falling. 12 teams still up, but I feel like a couple are about to drop down.
They just feel so close to each other. This is the part of any Battle Royale where the players are going to really start sweating, because this is where you're just constantly in fights and you're constantly trying to pray for your life. As you can see, Icon now just shoved into a corner, does get that double kill, but quadra kill coming out for Savage. Crack with getting that with a nade, and look at them go. They just keep getting more and more and more, and it just feels like there's no stopping them. But in this house right now, Icon continuing to struggle a little bit in this firefight, and it's not looking too good for them, as now Savage are taking control just on the outside, picking up more and more. Look at that. 14 elims for their team, and honestly right now it's looking like they could get a pretty damn high placement.
Yeah. RL eliminated, Arc eliminated, GW still alive, but just on the outside fighting out versus Sky. As Sky's going to be laying down some fire onto AO, you do see Aaron trying to fight on a 1v1 for this one. The goo wall not going to be able to give Aaron that line of sight, but hopping back over towards Savage. Team with 14 eliminations, like you say, eliminating everybody in their path. Aaron finally takes out the players for GW. Finally, Icon down into a 1 versus 1. Big kill onto Savage with a full elimination there. Icon just trying to get as much as they can before falling. Still fighting tooth and nail inside of this zone. 3 eliminations for Urza. Backed up and towards the building. Savage back on towards their teammate, but not able to locate this Icon player just yet. As Shift get a kill. PL finds a couple of kills. Shift lose one of their remaining members. 3 teams fully eliminated, Miwa, and Icon might be the next up.
Yeah, Icon might be the next, but we're just seeing so many kills happen across the map as, again, another team falls down. I think Icon are actually potentially still in this. I'm not sure if that was Icon getting eliminated there, but just Savage as a whole continuing to dominate this game, continuing to get more kills. And look at the other teams. We've got 4 elims here to 14 elims on Savage, which is just crazy. That's already, you're looking at, what is that, 10-point difference. And that's not even including the placements.
Yeah.
That's almost a booyah in just eliminations difference between Savage and the majority of the other teams in this map right now. As PTR looks like they're in a pretty decent position. SFT aren't looking like they're going to be able to get too much, as PTR do get their 6th elim, which does put them in a nicer spot, and does elim yet another team, bringing us to 9 teams left, and now these teams are fighting for more and more points.
Oh, Savage. 2 players are knocked down, 1 player fully eliminated, but Doman's going to be able to be brought back right away. Here comes the swing from Nagaba, as Savage is going to lose out on yet another member. Still staying alive is Crack, fighting against these teams. Pentakill for Crack, a quad kill for their opponents. Swung in for the behind. It's going to be Savage. Crack still looking to play his life. The resurrection comes through. 15 eliminations for Savage, looking to be 16 eliminations, as Nakaba almost being able to take down this powerhouse squad, but having such a big struggle. A killing spree now for Crack. 1 versus 1 for Savage to stay alive. We head over towards PL, as Eslam going to be able to go down right away. In the inside, it's going to be quite the scuffle for this bottom side of the building. A couple teams now forced in towards this small point of interest. Only so many places you could say they have to coexist here, Miwa.
Yeah, and this is what happens when the circles are getting this small. The minimap just looks like that. Look at all those teams just everywhere right now as they're just spinning around, and they just have to be watching every single angle. But now the elims are going to really start coming in big. 18 players left, 6 teams, and Police looking like a really decent spot. There's going to be forced to run away with the storm now as so many kills are coming out, so many elims, bringing down to 4 teams. We're looking at top 4. How did this happen? This happened out of absolutely nowhere. We went from 6 to 4.
It's the way that Purgatory goes sometimes, Miwa. 3 teams remaining. Police, Stars, XS, Savage, gone. Nagaba, gone. Great Wall, gone. Icon as well outside of this. And here comes the grenade launcher from Sifu. Lots of damage on the inside of the top side of that building, and now Stars looking to gain a little bit of traction towards the end. Teams falling on the inside of the building. 3 remaining, looking to end very, very quickly. Is the grenade launcher going to collect a couple of those eliminations for Stars? Now swinging out with the shotgun. It is Stars to get now 8 eliminations out of all of that. It's a 1 versus 1 between these 2 teams. Stars going up against PL.
Yeah, and look at this go now. This is down to the wire. These teams are playing for the booyah. These teams are playing for the kills as it goes through. Booyah coming out. What a fantastic game. Stars able to clutch up a huge amount of points from that booyah. And I think I was around 7 elims, if I'm correct.
It was definitely over 7 from what I saw. I think it was possibly 8 or 9 towards the end of that one. So Stars with an incredible finish. I mean, that is how Purgatory is going to be going. So you can expect that in map 4 as well. But congratulations to Stars DZ for the booyah in game number 1 of our Free Fire tournament presented by Arena Esports, powered by arenaesports.ae. And that is an incredible finish to our game number 1, Miwa. And I could not be, I guess, more excited for our game number 2 after that.
I mean, after seeing such an explosive late game, you must only be thinking, what are the teams going to be doing going into this next one? And honestly, I'm so excited for that map 4, just so we can run it back again. I feel like I could see more from GW. They had that really strong start. They were able to get quite a few elims under their belt, but they especially lost it in the more inner circles. And I'm really hoping to see a bit more from them, but realistically, it goes without saying, Savage with their monstrous 15 eliminations, that must be terrifying for any other team coming into this.
Luckily for all those other teams, I will say, Miwa, they didn't get first place, second, third, fourth. They actually dropped pretty early with how many teams were still alive towards the end there. Everything kind of blew up all at once. And the placement might be what saves every other team to catch up with Savage. I do expect them to be high, but the fact that they didn't get first place, it's mitigated a little bit. So you still have a chance to catch up to Savage in maybe game 2 or game 3. Great Wall also had a fantastic performance right off the bat, so they had plenty of eliminations. It's just, can't wait to see the leaderboard and exactly where they do line up, because I'm right there with you. Savage, they looked untouchable for a moment. Those 15 eliminations are going to carry them a long, long way. But, you know, game number 1 down, already done. It is going to be Stars DZ for the win. How'd you feel about that, Miwa?
I feel pretty good. I feel like Stars had a much more safer playstyle. I think Stars, like we're talking about, were playing for those placements, were playing for the booyah, and they got it, which worked out really, really nicely. They picked up a lot of kills towards the end, but in that early game, they were kind of inactive. I didn't really see too much, and you know, I love it when a team can get a booyah and can sit there on 10 plus elims before even getting to the final 5 teams. So I'm hoping to maybe see a little bit more from Stars. Even though they did win, they did get those 12 points for the booyah. I would kind of hope to see a bit more elims in the next game and really show why they deserve that first place spot. But I think more importantly, there's a few teams that we saw, especially RL, that got knocked out very early, that I also want to see a bit of a comeback from. I don't like it when teams get too demoralized from game 1, from map 1, and I'm hoping that we can maybe see I suppose more of a comeback is we're going back to some of those grenade launcher plays, which were so huge in this game and really opened up the map across the board.
It allowed Savage to kind of dominate in a couple of those fights when, you know, there weren't those goo walls present, when, you know, teams were just trying to hide behind that cover. They were collecting from that. We see Fantastic Four there on screen. This fight was incredible out of Crack. The fact that he's able to revive himself, get that kill, fully eliminate it for, I think, the 16th one. But game number 1 was anything but boring from what we'll see. Stars here in that better positioning like you did highlight, able to walk away with this win at the end. Only one player was remaining from Olympia who got their second place finish there towards the end, also playing it safe. But yeah, I'm right there with you. Game number 1 might be done, but the series is not done for a lot of these teams, because we do have to talk about, you know, these placings and what it means inside of this invitational qualifier. We're taking a look at the roadmap, and it's not just the first place team that moves forward. It's 7 teams today will move forward in towards the monthly finals, and then that's where placements really, truly matter, because inside the monthly finals, that is where that first place team gets to auto qualify for the grand finals, and everybody else has to fight for those playoff spots. So for right now, you know, you might fall behind in game number 1, but you don't want to be kicked down into the dirt just yet, because there's still 4 other maps to play, Miwan, 4 other chances for you to maybe move into that top 7 spot to qualify for the monthly finals here inside of our invitational.
Yeah, and especially, you know, like we were talking about it, if you can't get that top spot, anything 2nd to 7th, that's such a good amount of room to be able to play it safe and just say, you know what, we'll play for a bit more placements, we'll play for a little bit, like only a little bit of kills, just because that's what, at the end of the day, what's going to promote us. As we go to the points here, and Savages and Stars both sitting on 21, 9 to 16 kills respectively. Absolutely incredible. GW and Nagaba Esports both getting 9 kills as well, and seeing Olympia on 16, which sort of came out of nowhere on the side, but unfortunately, Predators and Arc not getting the most fantastic amount of points, and especially Rebels as well. And these are the kind of teams that we're looking to hopefully shine a little bit more going forward. But, you know, which team out of all these sort of surprises you the most?
Arc Team and Rebels, as well as INS, all landing in towards the Lumberyard. A couple of them getting the short end of the stick because Great Wall was just getting so many eliminations right off the bat. I think, you know, they went for the contention, but they didn't get the guns right off the bat. Where Great Wall, they did. And that whole Lumberyard scuffle kind of surprises me that 3 teams really bit the bullet there. Arc Team, Rebels, INS all had a chance for a fantastic start, but unfortunately it didn't pay off in their favor, and now they're sitting in 12th, 13th, and 14th. So, you know, 3 teams who had a good fight at the beginning of Purgatory, gonna have to think, you know, moving into Bermuda, they need to turn it around to a little bit better, because they didn't have a chance to really showcase exactly what they were made of there. So it's a little bit surprising to me to see a couple of these teams with no points towards the end, or little to no points. But, you know, it only being map number 1, that is going to change as we head over into Bermuda for our second map. A couple of teams, you know, at the top to talk about as well. Stars getting that win, along with the 9 eliminations that they did have, ties them with Savage. So Savage, behind the placings that they got, as well as the 16 eliminations, tie with 21 points against Stars DZ, which is insane to even think about.
Yeah, I mean, it really is. It's I mean, how many kills they had, how many elims they had was massive for them, and was really, really. I mean, it gave them the points to come around. I think it was like 7th or so, and to compete with the team that got the booyah is a huge, huge, huge deal. And especially though, what this massively shows is it shows that they were able to, I suppose, prove that they were one of the better teams going into this. You know, it's hard to get a booyah. It's hard to get that win. It's hard to get the high placements. But at the same time, you can get there while maybe not being as mechanically as good as some of the other teams. But what Savage is saying are, we are mechanically one of the best teams in here. We just left that with such a high amount of elims. There are teams that wouldn't have even dreamed of leaving with the same amount of elims as we just had. And I think that's almost a threat, really, you could say, to the other teams in this tournament, because it just shows that Savage don't need luck. Savage have got this in the bag, and Savage are going for that #1 spot.
I like that. In a game where there's so much luck to be had, not needing it, it's going to take you definitely a very, very long way. And I'm right there with you. A statement was made by Savage, and who's going to kind of answer the call and step up to see if they can take down Savage in a lot of these one-to-one gun battles where, you know, in a game like Battle Royale's positioning and, you know, patience is going to be key for winning those booyahs. Savage don't need that. I'm excited to see this team a little bit more. So getting ready for our game number 2, folks. We got Bermuda. Teams already dropping in and looking to contest each other. Fantastic Four is going to be on screen. And who is that against them? Olympia, our second place finisher from map number 1, Purgatory. Already looking for some kills behind an explosive beginning to take down 2 Fantastic Four members.
Yeah, and this is such an explosive start, and you can already see that these players are coming so much more confident in this, and maybe Bermuda's just a map for them. I mean, it's an aesthetically pleasing map, but with this many kills coming through already, we're seeing Elims go around the board. Look at them go with, I mean, F4 being able to pick up 2 there. Really, really nice start and puts them in a good spot, but now Adam, maybe been in a rough spot. All of his teammates are dead, and police are surrounding him. But it looks like maybe they don't even know. Maybe they're actually running away.
I don't know. Olympia just seemed like they don't know exactly where Adam is. Maybe expecting him to have left or be hiding in a corner, but he's just inside of the building. So Adam has a chance to possibly go a little nuclear here. He's going to be spotted down to 57 HP. Stuck behind the goo walls. He's going to be cleaned up, and an early elimination onto those members of Fantastic Four is going to be a very heartbreaking beginning to Bermuda as we hop over towards Stars, our victors of game number 1. So many members around them are down on the ground in law, and yes, sir, going to clean up the rest. What a start from Stars after a heroic finish to Purgatory. Five eliminations to start Bermuda.
5 elims this early when you won the last game. Maybe Savages have actually a huge contender here, bigger than what I originally thought with them, with Stars almost getting the same amount of elims. I mean, it's more than half of the elims they got in their last game, and there's still 47 people, and that can still go up. So this is a fantastic start. This is exactly what they wanted, and as well, they're going to be able to pick up all that loot. But teams like NIS here do have that massive advantage of, even though they haven't gone for those early plays, what they have done is they have gotten that advantage in having so much more loot.
Yeah, they do get the armory open, which is going to give them some higher tier loot as well. So that can have a turnaround into, you know, some eliminations down the line. Potentially exactly what Stars did towards the end of that game. But to be determined after they get into a scuffle on this map. I saw that Shift was able to bring back a member. It seemed like they were losing some lives, but some eliminations garnered them a chance to bring back some of these players. We take a look at TL, a team that also did not have a great game number 1, looking to bring this around. Hasn't had any action at the start of Bermuda. Nagaba, 1 elimination. That's going to be behind Malik. And I'm not sure if that was against probably Shift or whoever hot dropped them, but it does look like a team just around the corner. It's Icon who is matching up against them, so Icon losing that member has to be careful in what to do, and a sniper onto Malik. Revenge dished by the sniper is going to be an elimination now for Icon to force this into a 3 versus 3 for factory control.
Yeah, honestly, getting those early picks is so important, especially when you're looking at a game like this where you're early on, you're still not maybe sitting on all the loot that you necessarily want, and your resources might not be completely ideal. So to get that snipe, to get that opening kill, really evens the playing field, or in some cases will give you the massive advantage. And I think we're going to clearly see that the factory is going to be given over there, because there is no smoke wanted, as that sniper was maybe just a little bit too much for both of the teams to handle.
Taking a look at the teams remaining, X-Shooter has already fallen, Miwa, as well as 3 members of Arc are gone, 1 member of Nagaba, and like we saw, 1 member of Icon has been brought back, or maybe didn't even leave to begin with. But we're taking a look now at Great Wall. INS, who you were hoping to get some action out of them, now looking to see if they can step up over towards Great Wall and take down these beasts that we saw at the start of Purgatory. So both teams just looking to size each other up for now and see what they are kind of dealing with.
Yeah, no, they're definitely they're sort of tic-tac-toeing, I suppose, around each other, tiptoeing, not really wanting to be the one to open up the fight, especially because, when you're looking into a hedge maze like this, it's definitely not something that you want to go blindly into or out of, especially if you have control of that. So NAS are going to move around the hill, try and maybe look for a better position here. Looks like they definitely want blood. They have the resources for it. They are so ready to take a fight, and it looks like a fight is just around the corner. It's just so dangerously close, as now Freda starting to get engaged on. Is going to have to pop some of those heals. GW getting that really nice start. We saw GW get a good start last game. I'm kind of hoping now that they're going to be able to do something else here, as now Meta does get a few really nice shots off as they're going to start moving around. RL get a kill across the map too. There we go, INS being down. Meta getting that one kill is so important, but gets taken down on the side. AO here to support, trying to make something happen, but still GW are all over them. NAS though going for the game ends, as they still have a couple members down, hiding behind the wall, and AO now looking for that aggressive play, has the HP for it, but the walls are going to stop him, as this is such a close fight. Both teams having lost members already, but Stars coming in out of nowhere, it seems, to try and just close out the team, with Tupac picking up a kill, and GW are going to get the revives, but it just seems so messy.
Oh, it is, but they're able to clean up. And INS get eliminated in 13th place. So big win there from Grey Wall after, INS have such a fruitful beginning towards Bermuda. They're going to be able to loot up these bins and collect anything that they can. Shift, new kill leader here, as they just get a full wipe of their own right. Rebels are gone, INS are gone, X-Shooter are gone, and everybody else except Arc back up to 4 remaining members. Icon on our screen. Looks like they have eyes on. A nice shot there onto the leaders. Not able to get that knock just yet, but giving away that they are looking to push up this mountain. Urza already up close and personal with this shotgun for Icon to see if they can start off and get one of these members down.
Yeah, they get a couple pop shops, which are nice, and like you're saying, Shift earlier, getting that kill lead is going to be really good for them. And I think the biggest difference right now to what we're seeing from last game is we're seeing just so many more team wipes, especially in elims this early on, and in a map like Bermuda maybe is the difference, but the TL get that opening as they're going to try and move around and get the drop on them. Really, really hectic start. Looks like there's just trades back and forth. You can't even really tell what's going on, as TL continuing to try and make those pushes, and now they are putting Icon on the back foot, but Icon comes around the corner looking for that play. All 3 members not sitting on the most amount of HP that they necessarily would have wanted. They are able to heal up though, and they turn it around, taking out Icon, and OF though across the map getting a 3-man res.
Yeah, that's Arc back to full strength. Icon get eliminated. 4 eliminations for the leaders after not the best game number 1 as well. Elsewhere, we do see that the circle is closing in and around Peak. So a lot of teams are now looking to climb up this mountain. Predator GG has already moved in towards the main mansion of Peak, just where Great Wall were fighting previous to that. So both of those teams looking to fight for this spacing. But with the high ground control now for Predator GG, this is going to be a great spot for a potential final circle finish, while a couple other teams rotating in. Savage moving in as well, just towards the north side of this hill. Stars just below them. Sky on the other side of the armory from Savage. And at the bottom of the map, it does seem like a couple of these teams are still fighting, while Nagaba are rotating in towards Shift. So this is going to be yet another explosive finish with 10 teams still alive.
Yeah, and no team's actually coming out of mill, so it seems like this south side of the circle is going to be heavily populated with all the teams sort of wanting to take contention over that. I think especially looking for some more of those better spots. And here we go, GW opening up, getting them with a kill, bringing them to 5 now, which is going to be super, super nice. But it does look like they are going to be losing players as well on the side. Meta 2-pack there and waiting. 6th elim now coming in for them as they are looking to maybe try and contend this kill leader position. And with only 9 teams remaining, this is where the position points are really going to start mattering, especially because this, I suppose, late on in the game, every time that you outlive another team, you're getting another point, rather than early on where, you know, if you lose 11th versus 13th, it's not really making any difference.
The double-edged sword's being shown here for Predator GG. Although you get that high ground early on, every team is going to be looking at you, and Savage with the knock there to finish yet another player of Predator GG and yet another team here on Bermuda. Icon are gone, the leaders, they got eliminated, and now Predator GG. So still alive, 8 teams to fight for this remainder, as Great Wall now are looking to take this high ground. You still have Nagaba rotating in through Coda Tua. Arc pushing up from the factory. Stars moving down towards Arc, so a contention going to be shown there, as Olympia might be looking to contest and gatekeep the south side of the circle from both Stars and Arc. So a lot of fights going around.
Yeah, and Savage actually having a little bit less kills this game. Definitely not dominating as much, but it looks like they're playing for the placement. They've taken a lot less fights, and I think they've sort of shown that, I mean, maybe they're trying to power play and just say, hey, we can play for placements, we can play for kills, we can play for whatever we want. But look at Shift coming in through 9 elims, continuing to push this kill leader position, and it looks like they might even try and do the same as what Savage did last game, but GW, with out of nowhere, 3 kills, bringing them to 10, the new kill leaders. GW bringing that early game dominance we saw last game and bringing into this one, now joined first with Shift, as we're seeing both of these teams do absolutely fantastically. Stars across the map picking up a few kills as well, bringing us to 5 teams remaining in this Bermuda map.
So the end circle is going to be just towards the side of Peak, half inside, half the mansion going to be in the circle, half of it not going to be in the circle. Majority falling down over towards this maze. So there will be a lot of cover for this end circle, but teams are going to have to be wary of GW on this high ground. Like you said, 10 eliminations. That early game has now turned into late game success for this team. With 5 teams left, things now looking to slow down. Shift has found their way in. Stars moved up to where Olympia were. Olympia moved in now towards the mansion. And a lot of these teams now going to have to fight for control of either the maze, the bottom side of this hill, or inside of the mansion. Well, Stars, they are going to be in what seems like a great spot to rotate late into the circle and finish on yet another booyah.
Yeah, potentially, but I mean, with GW having this much control, maybe they can do something with it as well. But Stars also picking up a lot of elims on the side, which is so important, you know, with such a fantastic placement last game, to be able to look like they're now in contention to even potentially get a booyah this game with all these kills that they're getting is going to be massive. GW, though, huge contenders, picking up all these kills. They didn't do bad last game. They're still one of the top teams so far, with Olympia as well still available in this game. And it's almost looking scary, especially if you're one of the teams that was trying to, you know, that was at the bottom of the leaderboard last game, and it's looking like it's going to be the same this time around with very similar teams in these final circles. And right now, Stars, especially looking scary. Savage still on the board. We know what they can do. GW sitting on 13 kills, trying to turn it into more. Stars not too far behind as well. This is so close to call, and with only 4 teams left, and arguably 4 of the best teams in this entire event so far, I'm almost a little bit scared, really.
I am too. We have seen now, Circle is going to fall away from the roof, so the ultimate height had to be fall down from GW, and as they do, inside, it's Olympia to start cutting them down. Stars get to move up. Olympia finish off the Great Wall. Stars, Tupac, and Meta, the last 2 standing for this team. And they won't be able to hold this height for too long. Both these teams are going to have to leave this house, with Savage now moving in. Stars, they have a chance to go back-to-back for sure now.
Yeah, they really have that opportunity available to them as Savage. I mean, they do pick up some of the kills, but they're gonna fall down. Crack now, the last surviving hope. Stars getting so many elims, and Olympia becoming the new kill leader, which is going to be massive, especially for them. And look at this, Crack's just going to try and get in and do something. He's going to fall down, and now Olympia moving out. Olympia on those 14 elims is going to be massive for them, especially if they can try and win this with only 2 teams remaining. Stars and Olympia trying to go at it. The circle's starting to move in. Napak, the last one remaining for Olympia, is going to go down. Stars with another booyah to close out this game with so many more elims. This team, you cannot shut them down.
No, you cannot. I was watching them that whole time, playing it patiently, not overstepping, just rotating with the circle, staying inside of the safe zone. Everybody else, they wanted to fight for those kills. They wanted to match up with the eliminations to just blow this game out of proportion, but they were not ready for the patience that Stars DZ has been showing today, and they get to go back to back from Purgatory to Bermuda. This team stays on top. The difference being that Olympia, they find themselves another second place finish today on Bermuda. Just behind them, Savage with a third. Great Wall up there as well. So many teams that had a fantastic game number 1 now recreating that with a banger game 2 and placement to go back to back with it. So this is going to be an insane shakeup of our leaderboard, and teams really shooting up and putting themselves out of contention.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at it, usually you expect there to be a bit of a change up in the next game. You know, you usually see some of the teams that maybe had lower placements turning out to be really good and just having a really unlucky start. But to see the very, very similar teams once again shining and being at the top of that leaderboard, both kills-wise and placements-wise, really cements the sort of, I think, 4 teams that we best be looking at going further and going into these other maps as well. And I'm really excited now as well to go back to Bermuda to see if we're going to see another rematch from that, because that was so eye-wateringly close. Great Wall having such a nice position on top of the house, picking up so many elims, and if the zone was in their favor, I think GW could have run away with that one.
Yeah.
And Stars, though, like you were saying, the patience, the elims, playing it so nicely. Savage as well, having a good amount of patience, moving in, trying not to take any fights, going for those placement points, and overall was just some fantastic free fire from all 4 teams, and really showing that they are the dominant forces now.
Yeah, really showing to be the Stars shining as they should be for this series. I would say, you know, to go alongside that, you could say a little bit of luck as well for Stars in that little late game circle pull. Great Wall, if they didn't have to drop from that height, Olympia never would have decimated them, and they would have had such a better chance, you know, for that finish. But at the same time, I feel like they kind of jumped the gun. Great Wall did not need to fall down and contend for the bottom side of that mansion right away. They could have waited for Savage to make the move and then third party them. I just think that Great Wall, you know, off of I guess a lackluster game number 1 where they had a great start but a terrible finish. In game 2, they had a fantastic way to put away that late game, but they kind of threw it away by getting ahead of themselves, something that some of these other teams haven't been doing. Olympia, who didn't even have control of peak right away, rotated across the map to get in towards that position, took the bottom of the house by force. With Great Wall being on top, they saw that opportunity, and they didn't leave until Savage and Great Wall pushed into them. They took control of that chaos. They took control of that opportunity, and they got another second place finish. So a big end to game number 2 for Olympia as well, Miwa.
Yeah, and the highlights coming through here as well. And, you know, it was just seeing so many of the same kind of plays from some of the top teams here. But they can play the long range, they can play the short range, they're comfortable in every scenario, and it's really just goes to show why they're playing at this top level, why they are dominating some of these other teams as well. You can just see they play so well as a team. This is something that so many players, especially when you're looking at just Tier 2 and Tier 3 esports as a whole, they can play fantastic by themselves but struggle as a team. But Stars, GW, Olympia, Savage are so good at playing as a team and moving in together, jumping around these walls, and honestly, it's just going to show. And I'm really excited to see what the scoreboard looks like and the leaderboards as well, especially after such a powerful game like that.
And it's not going to change either. We're going to Alpine next for game number 3, a map with a whole lot more terrain of cover. And when you look at teams who are able to play off of each other so well, with the patience shown by Stars, that is going to be rewarded in full force going into this map number 3. And Alpine is a map that's going to reward that slow play. It's going to reward the teamwork and, you know, the strategy that comes into a game like Free Fire. So with seeing already that play style get shown on not just Purgatory, but Bermuda as well, it leads me to believe that I'm not so sure this leaderboard is going to change after Game 3, where usually you look at a Game 3 to shake things up.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like, this is what we were saying, like, they are just so dominant, and especially to prove that you could do it in Game 1 and Game 2, to have very similar placements across all the teams is surprising. Usually you see it shake up quite a lot, but we're not seeing anything shake up this time around, and especially, I think some of the players that we really have to watch out for was Tupac on Great Wall. Played so well, got so many elims, and was able to really keep his team going even in the darkest of situations. And I think it really just goes to show as well that even in a game with so many players, you know, we're looking at so many teams with so many players in each team, like over 50 players, and to see highlight and star players within that really just goes to show the quality of players that we're looking at right now.
It's the first time in forever, Miwa, that I saw maybe a back-to-back booyah. It's not easy to do. And for Stars to make it look easy, the way that they swept all the other teams under the rug towards the end there, set up for those grenades, set up for all the utility to be thrown out and just destroy those last 3 teams. And you know they mean business, and you know that they want to not only get that monthly final spot right away, they want to make it look good. They want to make it look very controlled and decisive, and take that number 1, that first place cash prize to go with it. I mean, this team is out for blood, and I'm loving what we see. But heading into a Game 3, Alpine, the only time that we're going to see this map, Miwa, is there anything that you'd like to see from a couple of these teams that you maybe haven't seen just yet?
I would like to see Great Wall instead go for a higher placement. I think they've gone for a lot of kills. First game they went for a lot of kills and it didn't work out for them. They lost the placement quite early on. And I think if they continued, they would have had a very similar game to this time, where they were the kill leader for the majority of the end game. And I'd really like to see a sort of similar playstyle, though I would want to see them instead look for maybe first place or second place, as now the scoreboard comes through here and actually Shift going over Savages for that game, which massively surprises me. But granted, they did get a hell of a lot of kills. Bear in mind, this is just the scoreboard for Bermuda. This is not including the scores from the other games, I believe, because we do have Stars with a 13 elim game, plus the 12 from coming first with the Booyah, and who's going to stop them?
Nobody right now. For Bermuda and for Purgatory, nobody's been able to stop them. Maybe on Alpine we'll see a little bit of a change, but yeah, Shooters, not the best game. INS and Rebels also not really the best game either. Fantastic Four, we saw early contest Olympia right off the bat. They were able to get those 2 eliminations, but they found themselves exiting Bermuda very, very quickly. The leaders as well. Late game to the middle game transition, they were able to go toe-to-toe with Icon, eliminate them for 11th place finish, but they weren't long for this world as well. Predator GG with that early rotation over towards the Peak Mansion. 3 eliminations, 5 in total for Bermuda. And looking at those top teams, yeah, Savage, even though they get a 4th place finish, Shift, they still outdid them when it came down to those eliminations. And those 5 eliminations from Savages, 13 points in total from the Bermuda. Is it enough to hold on to that 2nd place spot? With Olympia getting back-to-back seconds, with Great Wall having a 13 elimination game, Shift starting to climb those ranks. This scoreboard, albeit might look quite the same with Stars being on top now with 46 points, things are bound to change, and so they will. Savage get knocked out of that 2nd place. They move down to 3rd, and Olympia take their spot.
Yeah, I mean, Olympia really cementing themselves as well in that position, because the 5 points is a lot for overall scoreboard, and how Olympia play, how they are able to get those high placements while having a very good amount of kills as well, is kind of scary when you look at it. Because yes, Stars look fantastic, but I feel like Olympia were almost overshadowing in a way because they are consistently getting these seconds and consistently getting high kills as well. And these top 4 teams, I think we're gonna have I think these top 4, this Stars, Olympia, Savages, Great Wall, I think that's gonna be our ending top 4 at the end of all 5 of these maps, because there's just no sign of any of these teams stopping, and they're able to dominate in so many other areas of the game. And you look at Shift. Yes, Shift had quite a lot of kills, but they lost out on the placements massively. If Shift were able to get higher placements, knock down Great Wall, they could have looked for at least a lot closer to that number 4 spot. But I mean, the placements across both games have been relatively low for Shift, so I still think there's a lot to see from Shift here, but these top 4 teams are looking too good, in my opinion, to drop down. And I think right now, especially if you're looking at those lower teams, you're looking at Rebels, NIS, Icon, Predator GG, you need to turn this around. You need to pull back, because you have not that much to climb, because most of the points are being stolen by these top 4 teams, but that's still enough that you have to start worrying. This isn't after game 1 anymore. We only have 3 more maps to go, and unless they're able to turn it around, they're cementing themselves in the lower half of this leaderboard.
That's a great point to bring up, and it leads right into what I was talking about. This is the halfway point of our tournament that we're jumping into. Alpine leaves a lot of these teams towards the bottom thinking, hey, we have to step up. It's now or never for us to get in towards that top 7. Nagaba sitting at 18 points, just 2 points above X-Shooters, and 4 points above Fantastic Four. You look before that, the drop-off from 10th place all the way to 15th place is a large margin. So heading into this map number 3, a lot of teams, I'd like to see them kind of take a page out of the book that you were saying of Great Wall. Play slower, play more methodical and safe in towards these zones, Miwa, and hope to get that placing behind your team. And if you get in towards those top spots, eliminations are bound to come. So folks at home watching, loving what we are seeing here on Free Fire, show some loves towards Arena Esports, powered by Etisalat by EN, as well as our other strategic sponsor, AD Gaming, because this all wouldn't be possible without them. We got Alpine coming up. Teams are loading in and getting ready to drop, Miwa. I'm looking forward to this change up, because Alpine, it is quite the doozy. Might be a little bit slower, but I'm expecting it to be another chaotic finish.
I mean, we've seen chaotic finishes across the board right now, and as well, I think Bermuda, we saw the strongest start. We saw the biggest, I think, more explosive start out of the 2 maps that we've seen so far, and I'm kind of hoping that we see something strong from Alpine. Before the first game started, I did say, across a lot of Battle Royales, most teams will tend to feel it out the first couple, maybe play it a little bit slower, and then go huge in the next games. And I think this is the last time that we're going to see teams really start to feel it out. And especially, like I was saying, if you're one of those lower teams, you really need to start pulling it back. And I think we're going to see much bigger plays from teams like Rebels, from teams like NIS, to try and claw back some points going forward, and to at least get them into a position where they look like they can qualify, and Stars continuing to push this lead as well. But it is worth mentioning, if Stars just have a really unlucky game and come last with very little elims, they could still not come first in this, even though they have had 2 huge booyahs, as we're now finally loading into game 3.
I mean, anything can happen at this point, and I think that's why I love Battle Royales. But we get to look at our map number 3 now. We're hopping in with these teams once again. Third time's maybe the charm for a couple of these teams. We had a flight path from the southwest to the northeast of this map, so all the way from Blueville towards Railroad, and a lot of these teams with that a chance to go quite anywhere you could possibly imagine on this map. But we get some early action here from Icon, and we are going to be seeing maybe a team drop early. It's Shift to be fighting against this, but Shift will not go down without a fight. Makes with a little turn on there. Icon going to be humbled for the moment.
Yeah, I mean, Latif being very aggressive there, confident in getting the kill, and I think Icon especially is one of those teams that is trying to really push their lead, like the small lead that they have, and cement themselves in those top 7, but it doesn't work out. Losing a player does mean that these early fights can become a lot more of a struggle, and honestly, if you're going into 3v4s, you could potentially get elimed, but look at Icon trying to just claim that kill, but Shift so quick on turning around that wall and stopping the kill from happening, and now getting rushed from behind.
look at this.
Icon are having a really rough start.
Yeah, they are, but INS are going to lose a member, so Icon not out of this just yet. We hop over towards X Shooter, fighting against our back-to-back champ, Abuya's Stars, who are also going to be looking to get contended on from 2 separate teams. It's just going to be the one team, X Shooter, surrounding them. It does look like so many teams contesting each other for this early beginning to the start. Icon not only with INS around them, but yet another team has climbed in. It looked like the leaders are also fighting for this. X Shooter is going to be able to shoot King in the back. Stars have to be careful for this one. They can't go down too early if they want the three-peat.
Yeah, I mean, they are looking in maybe slightly less of a good situation than they have been previously, as look at X Shooter go, downing a couple of them already to open up this fight. What a fantastic start. Stars maybe not looking the most amazing as they could really hope for, because having such a strong start, you're definitely going to be the one that everyone's looking out for, and this is what I was saying. They don't want to be losing out this early, and now some of these kills coming out, some triple kill flying in, NIS picking up some kills, Icon getting some kills as well across the map, and X Shooters are able to get those reses off, but low HP means that Scoot is going to fall down. Now, Casito trying to do something, doesn't land the shots to finish it off, but now Stars especially incredibly low. Zabola is going to fall low as well. Stars getting elimed now, down to only a couple members remaining. X Shooters down to 2 as well, but AMG Ha is going to die, and Casito, maybe the last remaining member, but Stars being given a run for their money by X Shooters of all teams.
Yeah, I mean, and Casito needs to decide, do you want to fight for this or do you want to run away? As we head over towards Nagaba, who are fighting against Great Wall right now. 3 members down for Nagaba. Great Wall looking for another repeat high elimination game to continue to climb this leaderboard when it comes down to the overall score. And Bass going to get run over. Nagaba's eliminated. X Shooters are eliminated. Icon eliminated. And Predator GG eliminated to start out Alpine.
Very similar names, and we're clearly seeing a skill disparity between some of the teams here. As now, this is the 3rd map. This was the final chance, really, for some of the lower teams to show that they've got something left. But going to, if Bermuda is going to be played the same way, and I think it's just going to be a bit rough. But I mean, hopefully, there's still hope. There's still hope. But Icon maybe not showing up as much as they needed to, and especially as well some of the other teams. But Savage this time opting once more to go for more of a placement-based game, less of the kills, really, which is very surprising, because after seeing Savages in this first game, I was thinking they were just going to be going for those high kill counts every time, but to suddenly switch it around, do you think there's any reason they decided to start playing more for placements? We're also seeing TL look to take a fight here as well on the side, and I mean, they are able to get more kills, and look at TL now, 6 elims, which is going to be absolutely massive for them, continuing to take this fight, continuing to just take people down, and just winning really across the board as they become the new kill leader, sitting on 7 elims here. As well, though, Olympia across the map are able to pick up some elims, and yes, they're able to get their first one, but we were expecting a lot more, especially from Olympias, especially if they want to try and take that #1 spot away from Stars, but Stars still looking so good in this game, with flying around, finally Olympia bringing up to 3 after a pretty nice fight for them there. And now, though, Arc trying to turn it around, but they're just so quick to respond. They play it so well. 4th Elim coming through as they try and deny me when I was saying only 1.
Yeah, only 1 turned into 4. As Arc are looking to get fully eliminated there. 1 member left for Arc remaining. We get to take a look at the mini-map for the moment as this circle number 1 is going to be closing in. INS still in a little bit of a competition against Sky. 1 member of Sky has fully left that area. Olympia, who just finished off on those kills, now up towards 4. You see the leaders on a killing spree as well. down towards Stars now, fighting against Great Wall. That's going to be a big head-to-head matchup, and sitting all the way down towards the bottom, a team still rotating in towards the circle, but the safe zone is pulling over towards actually where Savages first ended up landing, over towards Sunside and Carousel, where Savages have been kind of laying dormant for free, as well as Rebels going to be there.
Yeah, I mean, what a huge, like, I mean, this is a massive one here because we got Stars versus Great Wall, and Great Wall losing a couple members, but Stars have lost one as well. Great Wall losing one more, down to Meta as the last one remaining, which is really sad because Great Wall wanted to get a hell of a lot more from this. They've lost one member, another member's gone down now. Great Wall's still looking like they've got a bit of hope left in this. Meta trying to do something, brings them down so low, but Yesa is able to close it out, taking Great Wall out of the game very early, and Stars getting so many more elims and really looking like they're trying to go for the 5 Booyah special.
Yeah, the 5 Booyah special would be crazy to see, but to talk about a couple teams still alive, INS and Rebels still well and kicking, alongside the leaders and ARC. 4 teams that need a good map number 3 here on Alpine, and it seems like that might be what's brewing for them. The leaders are going to be rotating up from that south side of the map over towards Rye. Stars now in a chance to fight up against ARC, so they have to be watching out for as the safe zone starts to close. ARC might be walking into that team looking for their three-peat here on Alpine. Well, it looks like INS moving in from the northwest side of the map in towards this zone. They're going to be walking in on Fantastic Four as well as Olympia.
I mean, yeah, I mean, the Fantastic Four maybe were the ones that you want to go for because Olympia are an absolutely terrifying partner. But now ARC, here we go. Stars, King trying to close it out, trying to doom ARC for death. As there they go, they're going to take up and get that quadra kill, which is especially nice. And I'm not sure, was that the last person alive on ARC, or was he able to go for it?
They're still alive. They're deep down over towards Rivermouth. They're sitting inside of that storm, taking the damage, hoping maybe they can stay alive with enough healing to make it back in towards the circle while everybody else kills each other and get that placing. It's a weird one for sure, but action's going down between Olympia as well as Fantastic Four. INS still a little bit hesitant in walking in on this circle. Well, they have 10 eliminations already here with 9 teams left. INS might be looking for a huge turnaround after this game.
Yeah, I mean, this was exactly what they needed. This is what we're talking about. The more, I suppose, I don't know how the best way to put it, but the more, I guess, less probability plays. You know, they're going for more risky plays. They're playing to go for those kills, and it's very obvious, and it's working out for them so nicely. And this is what they needed. This is exactly what all the other teams need to be looking at that are in those bottom 5 and saying, this is what we need to do. This is how we're going to get in that top 7. This is how we're going to qualify. This is how we're going to have a chance at that $1,500. And NAS have taken it by storm and are running away with it. And as well with some of the bigger names like Great Wall dropping out so early on means that there's a new place in that sort of top 4, top 5 spot for a new team that like NA and INS to try and take and get those placement points.
It is
Savage
going to
here
be
looks to be taking up a fight as well.
Yeah, Savage has a chance to start collecting some eliminations finally. And next, nice shots there with the machine gun. Laying down the law. So much damage down onto the leaders.
Yeah, I mean, like, a really nice amount of damage, especially when they're being pushed in by the storm. Savages look to try and get their first elims of the game, which is so crazy considering they're the most passive team now after having the most aggressive first game. And maybe they're just trying to psych out their opponents. And right now it seems to almost be working because it feels like the leaders are just in such a rough spot. ARC even there as well, just getting eliminated. It feels bad. This feels almost bad. ARC getting taken out of the game finally after being grasping on by Strolls this entire time. But you can still see here, Savage looking to try and close this out, and they're just having to spam heals. One player alone able to hold back the entire force because why not? Because Savages know what they're doing and they know how to get kills.
Yeah, exactly. They know how to slay. And that is the important part for this team going forward here. Crack's going to go down. And here comes the rest of these teams. Sifu's going to be able to take down one of these members and now launch himself away from Savage. Sifu looking to just get into the safe zone right away. Move over Savage and try to get in towards a better spot. It looked like the play zone was going to be able to take him down, but Sifu still manages to get in on these members. And you look over towards Sky with just one member left, still sitting in between a rock and a hard place. Stars is walking in. Fantastic Four with 3 eliminations inside of this play zone. They are fighting for the building. One player goes down. It's Narrow. Goo Walls down for Adam as he's trying to finesse his life here. Fantastic Four losing players quickly. Can they get bailed out? As Simo might just be thinking, I do not want to fight for this. Let's give it up to Olympia.
Yeah, and Olympia, I mean, we also saw Stars become that kill leader as well, which is terrifying. You know, Stars already in command of this entire game, and to then become in command of the third map, sorry. How do you even stop them? You just can't. You absolutely can't. They are too good, and Savage is now being put on the back foot, which are starting to lose positions in the last couple maps, which is really unfortunate. After such a good game one, you would think that maybe they would resort back to those high elim games because it really seemed to work out for them. But I suppose maybe not this time. And here we go, TL trying to just continue to claw back, but they constantly feel like they're playing on the back foot. They are able to get 1 kill. Stars looking to try and shut them down. They're actually looking like they might win this against Stars, playing so nicely around it, playing around these walls. They almost getting a quadra kill. And look at that. Stars, I think. Was that Stars getting eliminated?
Stars get denied for the 3-peat. The leaders also get eliminated, Miwa. So that means not only will we get a brand new Booyah winner for game number 3 on Alpine with 4 teams left, both Rebels and INS have a chance for this Booyah win. Plenty of placements still ready on the board for these two teams.
Yeah, and this is what we were expecting out of the game 2, really, was this big turnaround. So, you know, seeing game 2 go like that, and then game 3 out of nowhere, Rebels and INS, 2 of the worst teams! Savage! What is going on? You can't do that! You can't ruin their lives with these quickscopes as he's just taking them over. Savages really might actually have a huge contention for this top spot. We know what they can do, which would be huge, getting them back into probably that top 3. As Savages, look at them go, going up to 6 elims. But they are going to lose a player, going down to 2 now. Last 3 remaining teams. 6 people left on the board. Savages controlling 2. I think we're seeing a 2v2v2 here. Actually, no, INS have 3 up. So INS are a huge advantage here. Savages need to look to try and knock them down. He's going to be able to knock 1. But it's not going to be enough so far. Savages now in a decent spot. INS in an even better spot. And I think, is that Rebels that are in the is the 1 versus 2 for the 1 versus 3?
Yeah, it's a 1 versus 3 versus 2. Rebels somehow still alive. I think just barely the corner of this building is going to be inside of the play zone, but Rebels, they get finished off to the zone. They get the 3rd place finish, and if Savage plays their cards right, they can finally get themselves a Booyah. But INS in perfect form to put this one away with numbers advantage. They got to be careful. These shots on Domino have been crazy good.
Yeah, they're trying to push up. They're going for that aggressive play, which is definitely a decent idea in this 2 versus 3. They want to try and play the advantage, but so far Domino is able to do so much damage. Look at his shots. He's almost able to get the knock on the side there, which is massive because it would open up and bring it to a 2 versus 2. As there it goes, the knock's going to come through now. Savage back into a 2 versus 2 situation, and it's looking like it's going to be pretty good. Savage continue trying to push, but INS getting the 2 kills clean, not letting Savage get 1, closing out the game with the kill leading position as well for such a dominant Booyah to put themselves in a qualifying position.
And Savage just barely miss out yet again on a strong finish to one of these games. INS, congratulations on that victory. You and I, we talked about, meanwhile, that we wanted to see some of these teams towards the lower side of the leaderboard step up in the way that they played. Not when it comes down to mechanically, but when it comes down to the strategics of this. And not only do INS put themselves in a winning position towards the end, they do it with the eliminations to back them. So plenty of kills for INS throughout Alpine. A big win for them here to grab that booyah towards the end and take down plenty of teams on their way. A little bit of help too. I mean, Savage, they kind of get picked apart and softened up by both Stars and Rebels and Sky, 3 teams that were fighting from the same side of that zone to get into a safe spot, and just members were falling as they were rotating, and it's unfortunate, it's unlucky, but for INS, they're going to take that and they're going to run.
Yeah, they're going to take it and they're going to run. I don't think they're going to aim for that top spot. I think Stars are still looking a little bit too good. But either way, we are going to go ahead to a very quick break. Don't go anywhere. We still have 2 maps ahead of us. Stay tuned.
Let's do this, Abu Dhabi! 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 this Abu Dhabi! Let's do this, 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 Abu Dhabi!
Welcome back, everybody, to the stream. We got Free Fire Tournament powered by Teslat by EN in our Arena Esports journey. Shout out to our strategic partner as well, AD Gaming, for putting this whole thing on. But we're going into game number 4 now of 5 for Free Fire for our Invitational number 2. My name is Seymour, joined with Miwa on the desk. We got Purgatory coming up again, Miwa. How are you feeling about this as we take a look at some of these Alpine highlights?
I am so excited for Purgatory. You have absolutely
You might be
no idea. Might be muted, are you sure? I don't think I'm muted. I cannot be heard. Well, either way, I'm really excited. I am absolutely and catastrophically excited. We saw a huge one, especially from Stars, and this was the map where we saw Savage go massive. We saw Savage get 15 kills in to open us up, and I'm really hoping that Savage decide to opt for those kills again because it worked so well for them game 1. Game 2, they got a decent placement, and game 3, decent again, but it just doesn't feel good enough if you're contending for that top spot. And yes, maybe it's good enough for like to get that qualification, but I feel like Savage has to be one of those teams that can really, really push, and I suppose just go for that top spot. But Stars are also looking really good, so it's it's a really tough call, but I'm really, really excited to see what these teams can do.
As am I. I mean, there's so many opportunities right now for so many teams, especially considering that INS made that run in the last one to get that booyah. It opens up a whole new world for this Free Fire tournament. So going into Purgatory, back to kind of that chaotic feel, that fast-paced game that we did see, that was like 0 to 100 so fast. Savage got 16 eliminations. The Great Wall got like 10 eliminations. Stars come away with that finish towards the end. Maybe we get a repeat. Maybe we get something different. Nonetheless, meanwhile, I'm looking forward to it when these teams get ready for this game and when they do start hopping in. And it does look like they are all getting ready to hop in, just waiting on a couple more teams for Purgatory to start to begin. So when we do get into it, let's take a look at the scoreboard of where these teams are going to be sitting. Here is our Alpine scoreboard with INS getting 25 total points. The leaders finding 18 total points. Stars DZ only going to be able to get 18 of their own. Savages with 15. Olympia with 13. Rebels get 12. So a couple teams here that might actually be looking to make a big turnaround after this map number 3.
Yeah, I mean, the INS 25 points. I think that's one of the largest. I think it's not joint largest amount that we've seen in that. I guess you could say like that top spot. So that's going to be huge. The leaders as well coming in massive. A lot of new names towards that top spot. We still saw Stars, Savages, and Olympia sitting in that top 5 though, which is huge. Great Wall sitting in number 8, which is a bit lower than we would have expected. Unfortunately, Predator GG, X-Shooters still sitting really, really low on the board, as well as, I mean, Nagabar and Icon are not having a great game either. Overall, I think we're now starting to see the kind of teams that we don't think are going to make play like the top 7 spots. But one team that I really want to talk about actually is Black PP, because every game they've been relatively consistently in that sort of 6 to 9 spot. And honestly, I think like they're probably one of the most consistent teams here, having not really changed spots all that much. Up the same like with Stars and this kind of stuff. And I feel like they've been fighting to try and get this, I guess, it's not promotion, sorry, but fighting to get these top 7 spots, because right now you can see them sitting there at number 8, 1 point behind Fantastic Four. Stars still at top. Olympia holding that second place. Savages very close behind now, though. Great Wall having dropped down a bit, and NIS coming from the bottom to the top, taking that top 5 position, which is going to be huge for them this game.
It is going to be huge for them, too, to finally find themselves in this spot. Fantastic Fours also climb into the top 7. Who gets knocked out? It's Nagaba Esports as well as Shift getting knocked down. So a big change up for sure now that you look to, I'd say, around 7th place to all the way down to 11th place are still contending for that top 7 place. Maybe Rebels if they have a couple pop-off games, but I don't think if you're below 4th place right now, you're really confirmed to be in that top side. Great Wall, Savages, Olympia, and Stars DZ. These are teams that I would be expecting to see make it in towards that monthly final already. Should be confirmed for that for the rest of their games. But when you're looking at INS, leaders, Fantastic Four, all the way down towards Rebels, there is still a chance for a little bit of a shake-up for those last 3 positions.
Yeah, there definitely is. And I think this is where we're probably going to see those teams go for those larger plays. I think teams like the leaders and NAS have enough of a lead that I think they can start playing it safe a little bit. But Fantastic Four, Black PP, Shift, and Nagabar Esports, as well as X-Shooters, all have a very equal chance to end in that top 7 spot. And I think we're now going to start seeing these teams go for those huge plays. And we've seen Shift do it. Shift had a massive, massive game taking the kill leader spot in our second map. And I'm really hoping that we're going to see a sort of similar playstyle from them now going back into the first 2 maps that we saw today, and especially Bermuda, where they had such a good game. So I still think Shift have a lot of fight left in them. Fantastic Four, though, I feel like I haven't seen enough big plays from Fantastic Four. I feel like they've just consistently been okay, kind of the same as Black PP. And Nagabar Esports, they were doing pretty well at the start. They started to fall off, and honestly, I'm not so sure what to think about it.
No, I would say they've just been hovering. Consistency has been, there for a lot of these teams. But Fantastic Four, they've been dancing around either big games or small games. It's just it hasn't been like those Savage games where they drop 16 eliminations, or INS where they just get the booyah with 10 eliminations, or Stars DZ who go back-to-back with booyahs, or even Olympia who get back-to-back second places. Fantastic Four have been kind of just hovering around small placement points and small elimination points for the past 3 games, and that's brought them into this spot. But I wouldn't say, like you've kind of been leading to and dancing around, I wouldn't say they're comfortably in this spot. They still need to prove themselves, along with, I'd say Black PP down there in 8th place, Nakaba Esports, Shooters, Rebels. None of them have had that pop-off game. They've all had okay games with okay placements to keep them dancing in around that 7th spot. The only team I would really say stands apart from them is Shift, who were able to put together a really good game, but hasn't been able to get the placements behind it, and hasn't been as consistent in that sense. That one good game has put them into that spot of 10th place, but they need to go the extra distance. All these teams need to go the extra distance if they want to confirm their spot in that monthly finals.
Yeah, and this is the final 2 games to do it. We're past the halfway point. This is where we are expecting the most explosive behavior from a lot of these teams, especially the top teams, like we were talking about, the top 5, GW, being Great Wall, obviously, Stars, Savages, Olympia, all of them, I think right now are thinking, we just want to play big because we want to win. They are almost already confirmed, almost guaranteed to go through, but to get that number 1 spot would be even better. And I think that's what we're going to be seeing them play for. So I think we're probably going to be seeing almost everyone this game trying to have massive games rather than just playing it safe for the first few, which is what a lot of teams opt to try and do. They'll feel it out, they'll play it slow, and then they'll go massive in those last 2. So I'm really excited to see, especially going back to a map that we've done already, is going to be really nice. Maybe the teams have learned a little bit, or maybe we're going to see a very similar story with Savages and Stars coming out as the big 2 contenders.
Yeah, no, and going alongside that one, I would say looking at those teams in the top 5 playing for the prize pool right now. They can feel comfortable going into that monthly finals to be the team to walk away to go even farther throughout this team. And everybody else, they're just trying to make it at this point, Miwa. So I would say if you're any team that's below that top 5 right now, you have a lot to play for, which is that pride of making it into the monthly finals, avoiding that open qualifier. And it's not going to be the easiest task. It's easier said than done for a lot of these teams to make it happen, because you're looking at these top teams who are still fighting to knock it out of the park. And you not only have to get into the top 7, but you have to beat those top teams. You have to manage to get those high placement points and high kill games against Savage, Great Wall, Shift, all these teams that are putting up high kills. It's not going to be easy for anyone in this lobby to make a last-ditch effort in these last 2 games.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be hard. It's going to be especially I think when it goes down to it, it's for a lot of these teams, I suppose you could say, that are contending for that top spot. All the teams that are trying to go for that, not only are trying to do it for because they're thinking about that prize pool, because they're thinking about those future games, but I think as well because there's a certain amount of fear that comes in. If you play against a team that in their last round they came first with multiple booyahs, you're going to be terrified moving into them. And we're finally getting into this game, and God, that map looks beautiful as Purgatory is back.
It looks beautiful, but at the same time, this flight path does not. This is already a very small map to begin with. Having a flight path that denies 3/4 of this map is going to lead to some pretty tough drops for a lot of these teams who might have wanted to go to Crossroads, Ski Lodge, Forge, or Moat House. This is going to be a very intense start to Purgatory, Miwa, as we're dropping in with Savage right away, the team that dropped 16 eliminations on this map.
Yeah, and then maybe they're going to try and look to do it again, as we're already seeing some early combat as PL here obviously being Olympia looking to try and take a bit more of an aggressive approach against Arc, which we know that they can do. Like, they have this, especially what I find Olympia have is this incredibly good unit coherency. They can just play so well. Their positioning around each other is so nice that it almost becomes scary to play into, because you're constantly worried about the other members rather than the one that you're currently fighting. And now Icon as well, looking to gear up and maybe play the slow game, which is quite interesting to see teams playing the slow game this late on in the tournament.
Yeah, you have the pressure now. You feel like it's now or never for a couple of these teams, and you don't want to overstep your boundaries right off the bat, but it seems like a couple teams ready to get into the action. Icon's going to start off with a kill onto Nakaba Esports, so one elimination for Icons. It looks like Olympia were able to get one as well. A little bit of a scuffle here between these two teams. Arc also looking to get in on the action, but soon enough to fall. One of these members, Vegeta, drops to Claw. And Olympia with numbers advantage, looking to run over the rest. 2 members down for Arc. Already the remainders are backing up. 2 kills for Olympia. It is a member down in Nimmo, but Spraz should be dropped. You already see Shark is leaving the POI, and Arc are again doomed to fall here in Purgatory.
That is just so sad, especially for Arc. You know, they needed something good. It was looking so decent. It was looking so, like, it was just looking good. It was just looking fantastic, because they were in such a nice spot in the leaderboards that with one good game they could have got back into it. But unfortunately, they just had to cross paths with Olympia, and Olympia are terrifying. Olympia are not the team that you wanted to go for here. And now GW starting to build up as well and playing around very similar spots, which I'm kind of noticing. We're seeing somewhat similar positions by quite a few of these teams in this game.
I've been impressed with the evolution of Olympia so far through these games, where, you know, shout out to their IGL, who has been making so many good late game calls for their rotations, but now their mechanics are matching up to that, and they have been a dangerous force to be reckoned with early on in a lot of these maps. So starting off strong for sure as this team, as we head over to Icon, not going to be in the same boat, on the brink of elimination from Purgatory, and a couple others going to be a third party, a fourth party, fifth party even here as X-Shooters with 2 down. So many members around them knocked. A couple kills for X-Shooters to tally up on their leaderboard as they're trying to get the rest of their team back to full HP. It looked like Simo was actually going to get eliminated there too. I thought he was making a resurrection play, but things gonna get a little quiet now over and towards Brasilia after X-Shooters walk away with their members in 2 eliminations.
I mean, yeah, definitely the kind of play that they wanted. Bear in mind, this is one of the teams that are fighting to try and get in that top 7 spot, and they're looking like they're going to maybe try and do it, but falling extremely low. The down's going to come through, and now the push is going to begin to happen down that hill as well from the other side. N9 getting pushed into a pretty rough spot. Nagaba maybe not being in the exact kind of place that they'd want to be in. And it continues to be Great Wall moving as a team and making things happen as Predator GG fall out as one of the teams that has already been struggling so much this tournament to get eliminated this part. I think this is a death sentence to their time in Arena Esports.
Could be the nail in the coffin for sure, but speaking about the complete opposites right now, Great Wall staying true to their name. I feel like when this team moves together, they move as if they were quite literally a Great Wall across the map. It's hard to move past this team, but if there's anybody to take them down after the game that they just had, they are pinched between Savage and INS. So Great Wall find themselves in a truly poor position, and now facing elimination after what we were just kind of hyping them up to be. Nagaba's going to be here as well, but Savage is going to find Mono with a sniper. Where is Savage? I feel like this team is nowhere to be seen, but still walking away with a couple of these kills. MR looking to stay alive, has to drop the ghoul wall, so does Tupac, but he's going to be out in the open. Savage going to find yet another kill as Grey Wall gets the resurrection back onto 2 of their members. 1 does end up falling, and Nagaba looking to do quite the same.
Yeah, and Savage now putting to push further up into Nagaba here as look at them go. Getting 3 elims, really, really nice. Still 43 members only could go up from here left in this game. So there's still so many more elims to be had. RL actually sitting on no elims, and they're trying to turn it into that first one as they do get first elim number 1 coming through, which is going to be especially nice for them. Oh, God. The shift. No! The horror. They were
No
looking
shift.
so good, and then they just had 2 members die. Oh, the misery.
There's going to be 2 eliminations for Rebels. Heading back over to Grey Wall, who did get those members back. It doesn't seem like it was turning into anything after that. Mata is already hightailing out of there. Same with Nagaba with their 4 eliminations. They're trying to get out of the heat. Icon driving around, Shift falling back in towards the map. All 4 members going to be healthy. Just looking to loot up once more. As looking at this map on where these members do stand. Let's get a lay of the land. MENA for Great Wall, dropping down over towards Icon and towards a 1v1. Looks like both of those members are going to be trying to resurrect their team. Shift, who just resurrected their team, rotating towards the north side of the circle. It's closing in around Brasilia, but Shift are rotating over towards the leaders. Nagaba rotating over towards Rebels, who are looking to be gate-kept by Shift. Nagaba still alive quite around the map over towards Nagaba, but still rotating in towards Rebels at that. Great Wall is going to win out versus Icon, be able to resurrect the rest of their team, but they have a long way to go to get back in towards this circle, and there are so many teams already populating this circle.
And this was so needed by Great Wall. They needed to win that fight. If Great Wall had lost that, their hopes of coming first in this were completely over. I mean, granted, they do look like they're already going to go through regardless. That was so nice to give them this further push, I suppose. But here we go now. Olympia getting a really good push here onto Sky. Sky maybe in a bit of a rough spot. And I think Sky is Black PP, I believe, because I've not seen Black PP across the board otherwise. But now here we go. Maybe in a slightly more rough position as Olympia do get that push, get that elim, and now they're going to start moving across the top as well as the quadra kill comes out. 6 elims now for Olympia as they're going to try and turn it into more. And this is just, it constantly feels like Olympia and every fight they take are just so good as they play around these walls so well. Almost turning into another Napag.
Oh!
Does able to close it out. Pentakill now to go through. Oh, Olympia, you're so good. 9 elims in this game so far.
Now looking to overtake that first, second, third spot, solidify themselves at the top. Olympia, they're looking good to get it done. Here's a team that needs a win here. X-Shooters, 4 eliminations to start. They got out of the danger, and now they are looking to be the danger, as this team is going to be inside of Brasilia, so inside of the safe zone for now. Great Wall have made their rotations back in towards the safe zone. INS just lurking over towards the south side. Stars just above Great Wall. Nagaba just behind Stars. At the top north side of this safe zone is going to be Shift, really residing in a very secluded area. Not too many members around them. Savage could be fighting for this space against X-Shooters. This could be a great spot for late game positioning early on. While this is all going down, it does look like Olympia crossing the bridge over towards Brasilia, and a member of Great Wall just behind them.
Yeah, and Savage playing much more aggressive in this game, which is what we'd like to see, because Savage played so well when they were playing aggressive. I mean, Olympia do get that res off, which is going to be especially nice, because they did lose 1 during that fight before. But there we go, Savage maybe looking to try and take a bit more high ground as they are in the same building here, and they're playing so much more aggressive, and it's really nice to be able to see a team that can do both aggressive and safer play styles. Stars now picking up some more kills as well, which is going to continue to solidify this first place position. Savage still holding down this house from the outside and the inside, really almost playing like rats at the moment with the way that they're just kind of rolling over this team. And honestly, I think this is going to be a really, really hard one to come out from.
Huge hats off to X-Shooters who actually stood up to Savage and now are coexisting with them inside of that building. But I want to highlight PXL from Great Wall. The rest of his team died to Stars, but PXL ratting over towards the Armory, was in a 1-versus-1 versus Olympia, wins it out. So Great Walls get to stay alive because of that. PXL, major play from him. We do see a couple teams on the move. Savage going to leave X-Shooters to see if they can find their own high ground inside this building. They will get that. Just outside of that, you can see the leaders are here. X-Shooters are here. Olympia moving into this one, and Shifter now getting in towards the action. So plenty of teams. Rebels going to be here as well, as Savage now with 3 eliminations. They are in such a good position. Stars also just take down INS, or 3 members of INS. So Harduno, the last one standing for that team, to see if he can try to go back-to-back for the team.
And we saw Great Wall eliminated from the game there, unfortunately, taking that 10th place spot. So maybe not going to be able to try and contend for that first place, especially with Stars being kill leaders and already at the top of those leaderboards. That's I mean, we saw it coming. We saw Stars having a good game, but not this good. Kill leaders, top of the leaderboard, 2 Boyas in their belt out of the 3 games that are played. And this was one of the maps that they got one of their Boyas on. So they could try and turn it around into more, and it already looks like they are doing it. And honestly, this is such a different game than what we would have expected. And honestly, I feel like Great Wall, this just isn't their map. They've been eliminated around this position in both of the times that this map has been played now.
Yeah.
And yes, they had decent kills, but it's just not been enough. Now Stars and Olympia actually, this is a very important fight. Whichever team wins this could actually go on to take first place in the entire event, because both these teams are very, very, very close to each other. King getting pushed now, trying to move out. Tries and turns it. The trade's going to come through, but Olympia know what is ahead of them. Ahmed staying a little bit further back to try and get some support coming through. Olympia's going to push it up. Stars actually now put in a really, really rough spot. New kill leaders in Olympia taking over from Stars. Stars maybe not looking like they could have the time of their lives right here, as we thought they were going to try and take this into a third Booyah, a huge kill game. But it looks like Olympia are here to punish, and look at them go, almost taking out another Nam pack. Just bringing it so close. Olympia coming in big.
Olympia playing really big. Stars move away from their safe game style, and it hasn't paid off in the past 2 games. They've been trying to take these fights, and it hasn't paid off for them. So that's going to cost them once more, as 12 eliminations for Olympia. Savage looking to spoil that. Errors, unfortunately, drops out of that window, but that's not where the action is. The leaders fighting. So are Olympia. That's 13 eliminations now for Olympia. And moving into the circle, Olympia playing towards the south side. They're going to be walking into X-Shooters as the circle closes in. Nakaba has a great spot towards the top side. INS barely staying alive right behind Rebels. So a lot of teams trying to fight for some space here, and Rebels is one of them who might be in a good spot to put this game away.
Yeah, I mean, we are seeing, though, on the other side of things, Olympia being brought down to 1 person alive, and we thought maybe it was going to be one of Stars or Olympia doing really well in this game, and now Olympia being taken out of the game. We saw Stars get taken out of the game as well. Shutdown coming in for Savage. Savage now on 5 elims. Are actually looking like a really good position to try and win this one. 5 teams left, 18 players. Savage are looking very, very, very healthy right now, pushing back Simox and Lauren to continue to push this pressure, which they've been doing so well in this game so far. And honestly, with the 2 top contenders of this game dying and being eliminated this early on, this opens up a whole new world available for one of these teams to try and take this #1 spot.
Yeah. 5 teams left. Savage, the leaders, Nagaba, Shift, and 1 other. I think that's going to be Rebels to top this one off. And Rebels, yeah, it's going to be there to find a snipe onto one of the members of Savage. Crack is fully down. It does look like Nagaba is starting to walk forward, push Savage back, and at the same time, Shift as well. Going to have to reposition. You do see the Crimson Ball come out from Savage just to try to stay alive and elude all this pressure. Shift turns things around into a triple kill, but at the same time, the leaders start to cut down on these members. 4 teams left, and leaders going to lose 1 of their own. Nagaba going to get that one, and Rebels, nice shots there to continue to keep this one so chaotic.
Yeah, it seems like Savage are trying to actually play this very, very slowly. No one to play too aggressive, but now the circles are so small. Nagaba Esports eliminated, taking a 4th place. Leaders eliminated 3rd place. It's a 1v1 now between these two teams. Savage trying to come in big here. They've already lost 1 though, so they are down that 1-person advantage as RL are trying to do something, and they are able to get 1, but it's a 2 versus 3. Savage still looking alive in this. They are able to get that res through, but it's going to go straight back down again. Dominic's in next, being the last 2 to try and pull this through. Dominic's moving around the side, trying to look for a better position. Is able to spot out 1, pops the wall to try and keep it going, try and stay alive. Now, RL have huge amount of kills. Savage, if they get they get this win, they turn it into 3 more kills. They look like they're in such a nice position, and they're playing it so slowly. These nades going out, providing so much utility, so much support as the push comes through from Savage with the pan, trying to whip it out, trying to make it work, and it's so close. The pentakill, Savage coming in massive with the 11 eliminations. Booyah!
And booyah with 5 kills for Savage. What a win to close that game number 4 on Purgatory. This team, it's been eluding them for so long, but game number 4 is finally where they put it away and take that win. Savages are going to climb now with that placement spot, and that is going to be feeling good for this team, trying to deny others as well of this chance. So Savage win this one out. 2nd place goes towards Rebels, a team that needed not only that 2nd place win, but would have loved to get the booyah for their own rights. But hats off to plenty of those teams towards the end. Shooters, Rebels, the leaders, so many teams who were fighting for that 7th place spot, so many teams who needed a good game. They showed up on Purgatory and they showed out, Miwa.
Yeah, I mean, Savage needed it. Savage were so big as well. 11 kills. Huge turnaround. Honestly, Savages, maybe that's just their map. Maybe if we just played the rest of the tournament on this map, Savages would just win out the entire thing. And for Stars as well, and Olympia to get eliminated so early on was a massive, massive deal, because these two teams were looking for that top spot. Savages might just take that number 2 spot, and if they have one more good game, Savages could even try and take that number 1 spot away from Stars, because they just played so fantastically. And this is the thing, this is why we were looking for these teams to play aggressive, play for those low probability plays, high risk, high rewards, so they're able to get those huge positions like Savage has now, and potentially look to take that number 1 spot as well. We saw Arena Esports, Rebels, putting themselves into such nice positions, really, really showing their true colors, coming in, trying to take that top 7 as well. So there's a lot of contenders, and I feel like a lot of the teams like Shift are maybe out of the running from those early losses.
No, it's going to be hard to climb back for those teams for sure. I would say looking at the overall leaderboard will give us a better lay of the land for sure, but it's going to be tough. Nonetheless, no matter what way you and I spin this, Miwa, it is going to be a hard game 5 for a lot of those teams. And I think one thing that we do need to shout out that you were kind of talking about is Stars and Olympia, the performances that they put on throughout that, because those two teams were going toe-to-toe in trying to move in towards that circle, and they kept on fighting so many squads in parallel almost to climb into that circle. Finally, they matched up against each other, and you thought for a second Stars was going to get the better of Olympia, but they managed to turn that around, turn it into a 16, like a 13 or 14 kill game for Olympia, which is huge. And that might be enough to keep them away from the clutches of Savages, considering it wasn't the highest kill game for Savages at the end of it. But for both of those teams to die early, it not only kind of opens up for Savages to move forward, but it opens up for Great Wall to potentially move forward. But you don't have to worry about them, because they've also been suffering their own, I guess, issues when it comes down to Purgatory. This game was a low placement with not that many eliminations to go behind them. INS, kind of a similar story to them. I don't think they had the greatest Purgatory here for their 4th map. They lost plenty of members moving into Brasilia, and they were just down to the one Harduno. He wasn't able to res up the rest of that team. So when we do get to take a look at this leaderboard, I expect maybe INS and Grey Wall might be sitting in their same spot, but what it comes down to between Stars, Olympia, and Savages is going to be a very interesting change of pace, especially, you know, another thing that we have to look at is that 7th to our 5th, 6th, and 7th place as well for what's going to be sitting like that. Plenty to think about, plenty to kind of digest after that purgatory map. And I mean, that's 4 maps in for you and I, Mihua. We got 1 remaining, and I feel like this whole thing just started. I honestly, I feel like it's gone by so fast.
Yeah, it really has. It really has gone past, like, in a blink of an eye, it feels like. And I mean, like I was saying that, I feel like we're looking at every spot. We were like, oh yeah, we're gonna look at those top 3 spots. We're probably gonna have the 4th and 5th stay the same, and then everyone else we're gonna be looking at, because this game is just so close. And one of the best things I love about Battle Royale esports is because you could be 7th, 1 game later you're 1st. You have that god tier game, and you just pull through. So those early games don't matter as much as you might think that they do. And I think we're going to really see that, especially with some of the top players. And now highlights coming in from that game as well. Wow, Olympia getting that early kill into Arc to even shut down their dreams of moving forward was so sad.
I think I was like one of many nails in the coffin that we did see throughout this game. I want to shout out X-Shooter, who was in a tough spot there and managed to climb their way from that, tough spot to resurrect the rest of the team and even find a place in that end circle to contend against Savages a lot of that time. They looked good throughout this game, but Rebels as well had a great start here. You thought for a moment things got a little bit shaky for Rebels against Shift, but they were able to match up against them, take them down, and even walk in towards that end circle. Big 1v1s for Grey Wall across the map. PXL did his best to stay alive. Olympia, I mean, what a game out of this team to get as many eliminations that they did. Stars here, you see they had 10 eliminations, brought up towards 11, but as soon as Stars went down to the hands of Olympia, that is when things changed for this Olympia team, and that's when they took control of being that kill leader, had a chance for a little bit more placings, and maybe even cut down that gap between both Stars and this Olympia team. But even looking at this end circle that you had between Rebels as well as Savages, those grenade launchers were punishing them and doing so much damage over towards Savages, but so many goo walls to separate these Savage players from the Rebel players. They were able to resurrect their teammate, pick up their downed comrade, use their medicine to bandage themselves up and get back to full health, and somehow turned around that end game circle to be a win for them. And we sit to see it here when we look down the scoreboard.
Yeah, I think Savages with the 22 points is going to be massive for them, but this is what I was about to say earlier. Stars and Olympia had a huge amount of kills in that game. So even though their placements weren't that high, I was still expecting their score to be quite up there. Stars being a little bit lower than what I thought it was going to be. I didn't realize it only got 2 points from that placement. But either way, Rebels, Olympia, Rebels coming out with a massive surprise as well. Really, really, really big. But Great Wall quite low, and it's a little bit almost upsetting in a way to see how Great Wall make that fall after what we could have seen as a really dominant game. Nagaba Esports as well, coming in big, getting that 4th place and a few kills. Generally speaking, I actually think that we saw probably the biggest turnout of the teams that were in the lower half of the table there in this game, with Nagaba coming in, Rebels coming in. It was really, really nice to see Stars and Olympia maybe not doing as well as they have done in the previous games, but their spots are more or less already secured. They're just here for the run, and Olympia is still able to get that 2nd place position in the scores. So across the board, definitely not what we expected, but do I think it's going to shake things up too much? I honestly don't think so. I think that we're probably going to see a kind of similar-ish table. I think we might see some movement here and there between that maybe 6th and 9th position, but I think we're probably going to see Savages stay more or less where they are, because again, Olympia was quite close to them in score.
Yeah, I think it was just a pleasant surprise towards the end of that, and I totally agree with you. I don't expect the top 5 to change too much. You see INS and Great Wall still kind of fighting back and forth between each other for the 4th place and the 5th place, but Savages do jump up by 1 singular point into that number 2 spot. There is still that jump between 1st and 2nd by 6 total points now, and Olympia are 7 points away from Stars, and that top 3 battle is going to be something that I'm so excited to see kind of divulge going into this last map of Bermuda. But we were talking about that 5th to kind of 8th, 9th place that we do see teams still battling out for those last 2 spots of the monthly final. The leaders and Shift hold it for now. Rebels move up towards that 8th place. Nagaba in 9th. And plenty of teams looking to once again still battle for that 7th and 6th place going into this last remaining map. It is not out of contention. There are still teams fighting for it, and that is going to lead to a fantastic end to this day.
Yeah, I mean, especially with Savages being so close, actually. I didn't expect Savages to be that much closer. I thought it was going to be like, oh, I thought Stars was so much more ahead as well. So for Savages to be 6 points off, Savages could take this. Stars actually maybe don't have as solidified as that number 1 spot as I thought they did, as now Bermuda comes through. A much better drop this time for all of the teams, with it going straight through the middle after that shambles we saw in the first one.
And this is going to be a lot better for a lot of those teams looking to make that late game resurgence, that map 5 turnaround to take that qualification place into the monthly finals, because you can comfortably go anywhere on the map. And you should be able to drop to where it's your desired position, loot up, and get ready for what's to come. And you can already see the spread is looking quite good for a lot of those teams. Maybe a little bit of a contention down towards the bottom between the leaders as well as Shift. Both those teams in the 6th and 7th place are going to be close towards Pochnok, Mars Electric. Icon drops towards the clock tower. You see Rimnem Village for Nagaba Esports. Riverside's going to be in a little bit of a 1v1 between Fantastic Four as well as Savage. Predator GG finally putting up a couple kills too. They're going to be fighting over towards the top side, the north side of the map. No, they're going to be over towards the hangar fighting up against Olympia right now.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a relatively... I guess, I don't know. I was expecting a bit more of an explosive start, honestly. I was expecting a lot more fights, similar to what we saw early on when we had Olympia against... Oh, never mind. Maybe Olympia's already back at it again with more and more fighting, as Savage and Olympia actually... I think that is. Is that Savage and Olympia? Or am I absolutely trolling? Oh, no, I'm trolling. That's not Savage and Olympia.
Savage versus Fantastic Four.
Oh, I mean, Savage seems like they're almost in a bit of a weird spot here with... members sort of split up a little bit more. Fantastic Four trying to take this, but I think Savage have the skill on their side, but taking a lot of damage. Next, actually, not looking so hot. Savage looking really, really poor to the start off here, but they turn it around. Only one member left. I think he's gonna go. Yeah, he's gonna go for the revives. He doesn't want to risk it and go for the play as Savage for a very slow start.
Slow start, but they stay alive, and that's important. And for Fantastic Four, you need that right there. Not only is the confidence of finding those initial kills right off the bat, but you take down one of the top dogs inside of this lobby, Savage, and you almost knock them out of the final game of the day. But this is going to be a lot of action here, as you see Stars walking in on Arc, who might be falling yet again first here on Bermuda this time. Arc not looking very... you know, worse for wear right now is it's only going to be down to 2 remaining players of Arc to see if they can revive the rest of them. Stars have 3 eliminations, and no, Arc down to 1 remaining player who gets that revive.
Am I crazy, or did I just see Olympia get eliminated? Or am I losing it completely?
Olympia are gone.
Maybe
They're
I'm losing
eliminated.
it.
No, they're
Yeah,
gone.
That's crazy. That is absolutely crazy. That was the last team I think would have expected getting eliminated there. And I mean, that means that almost guaranteed this number 2 spot goes to Savages. Actually, no, I think it is guaranteed that this number 2 spot will go to Savages at this point, which means that now Savages can only have really competition in Stars to go for that number 1 spot, which means that we're going to be looking at those 2 teams with Stars in our eyes. As now Sky here, Black PP looking to try and make that push onto Stars, which would be massive for Savages if they do so.
Fair for Sky to hopefully size themselves up against Stars. What a big moment this would be for Sky to take down that number 1 team. And what a moment it would be for Savage as well to kind of seize this opportunity to maybe climb into that number 1 spot. If Stars die here, this could be it for their number 1 spot. But they're doing a good job to stay alive. They have all 4 members healthy as a horse and 4 eliminations to boot. And it seems like they also have the chance to turn things around here versus Sky. So as soon as they break that goo wall, one member of Sky is going to go down. It's the knock from King. As now the dash over towards the next. They are running over Sky. Black Sky gets eliminated in 14th place, and Stars now with 7 eliminations.
I feel so bad hiding in the container, doing the absolute best to just put up walls, but Stars break through, crush the dreams, and become the new kill leaders, which is especially important considering they wanted to hold that number 1 spot. Savages are trying to close a 6-point gap, which in one game, that's kind of hard to do. Like, it's very much possible, but it's kind of hard. You're kind of relying on Stars to get eliminated quite early and to maybe look for those placements. But Stars, if they get a lot of kills, are going to make it very, very, very difficult for Savages to take that spot regardless. And honestly, I think it's still worryingly close. Arc, though, having a much better game. They got that 3-man res earlier, looking to pick up a couple elims now, and maybe they can try and make that run for the 7th spot. But again, a very long way to go. We haven't seen enough come from them so far that I would really like to say for sure, oh yeah, like definitely Arc could do this, but the sounds, the absolute car itself, look at it in all of its glory. NAS now,
it's revving.
I'm guessing, trying to go for those healing.
Yeah, I'm right there with you that I don't know if Arc can make it into that 9th or 7th place even. It's going to take a heroic game out of them if that's going to be the case, along with a booyah. It has to be a high elimination game and a booyah for Arc to jump up the leaderboard like that. And at the same time, they have to prey on the downfall of others, which is, I'd say, it's not really something you want to have to rely on going in towards game number 5. So Arc are going to have a tough road ahead of them throughout this last map. Maybe can just play spoiler to a couple of those other teams, but a couple of those other teams being Great Wall, who are still fighting for that 5th place and 4th place against INS. Nakba sitting in, I think, in around 10th they were at, or 9th place. They're losing some members towards Shooters, who are just below them. So a team that might be able to make a resurgence here and may be able to make a run for that 7th place is Shooters, who now have 6 eliminations off of that high placing game that they had back in Purgatory in our last.
I mean, that's especially important. It would be massive for them if X-Stars are able to turn this around, because especially they're not one of the teams that we really thought were going to be coming in big here, but F4 as well, picking up a few kills, looking to make this push onto Rebels, and Rebels had just such a good game last game, and getting that 2nd place has definitely put them in a position to get 7th spot, but maybe they're going to get taken down here as they're going to get put into a very rough spot. Pippo gonna fall down. Now Samoxa, Hadja, and Nur to just try and slow down the push of F4, but looks like they're able to do it. They're starting to get the res off. 3 members alive right now, I think, against another 3 on the side, but it looks like they keep getting pushed back now. Rebels in a really, really rough spot, trying to run away. Only 2 of them alive. On the other side as well, we're seeing quite a lot of kills this game as a whole. F4 sitting on 4 elims right now. You know, we saw 6 elims as well on some of the other teams. So right now, honestly, I feel like we could have a bit more of an interesting game, as now Illumi getting that quadra kill and bringing his team up to 7, I believe, eliminations.
That's Shooters that you were talking about. Circle looks to be closing in around peak yet again here on Bermuda. And you remember the finish that both Great Wall and Savage were able to have inside of that point of contact. Well, they are already fighting for that mansion-controlled Great Wall. Last time they were here, they found 13 eliminations. Can they do it again? Taking down Savage would be a huge feat to accomplish. But the Circle is going to be finishing towards the southeast side of peak. Well, a lot of teams moving in from the northwest side of the map are going to have a long, long rotation to make over in towards the safe zone. Well, a couple of them are going to be fighting. Icon here with one member down at the moment. Going to be able to get that player rezzed back up, fighting against Predator GG, who has been struggling in the past, but here looking at 6 eliminations and 1 member standing. YSF now has to decide, do you go for this or you stay alive? And it seems like it will be the latter end. But taking back a look at the rotations yet again, that's PTR moving in from Riverside, INS ahead of them, XS ahead of INS, moving in towards the north side of Peak. You have Arc rotating in from the Storm, Stars fighting up against Icon just outside of Clock Tower, and you have Nagaba Esports moving in towards the factory to move in towards the southwest side of this peak rotation. Rebels moving from Cape Town and Shift moving from Keratin.
Yeah, I mean, like, they're all across the board, and right now we're actually seeing the very similar play come out from Great Wall here as they take the house that almost won them the game earlier and gave them so many kills. So I think we honestly might see a very similar play from them. Aim to try and go for some kills, look to try and cement your like top 7 spot, which I think is already cemented at this point, but just to make sure it stays that way. INS starting to take that fight across the map now. Stars here on 8 elims right now, which I think might be tied with 1 or 2 of the other teams as well currently, but Stars, as long as they keep this up, they're getting the number 1 spot because they have that 6-point lead. That's 6 kills worth of lead right now, which means that for the chance of them to be taken out, they would have to stop getting kills and die pretty soon for Savages to really have that chance of pushing them back. And right now, I've not seen enough from Savages that I'd go ahead and say, yeah, Savages got this in the bag, and I really think they might be a one-map wonder team.
But for them, I mean, they are in a good spot to still turn it around, having that, fight for Mansion's going to be big. As PTR, they leap right over in towards the zone. X-Shooter is going to be picked apart and softened from Great Wall. No knock just yet on those members, but things are moving quickly in towards this safe zone. Now Shift walking in towards Peak. This is going to fall towards the south side more of Peak, so there isn't too much safe zone inside of this mansion. It will fall away. So Great Wall, they won't be able to stay up here for long.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if they need that long, because we know what they can do in this building. If they could hold off the other members, then maybe they can try and do something across the board. But there is people all on different places around this house, so it might be worth just trying to bail while you can, because having to jump off into the storm might just put them into a really horrible position to get flanked or even camped back down at the bottom of that house. So I'll have to see what they're able to do, see what the decision they decide to go for, and especially what side they jump off, because what side they jump off dictates which team they're fighting.
You're heading into the 4th storm, or the 4th safe zone, with 46 members still alive. Great Wall, they have that high ground. INS, they're starting to lose a couple of members, kind of stuck between Fantastic Four and Shift, and a member just behind that mansion. Predator GG have found their way in towards the armory, are just outside of them. Nakaba finally moving into the zone. Icon finally moving into the zone. They're going to have to fight against Rebels, and now here's where the action goes through. Star is going to get a kill. Shift a kill. PTR, 1 as well. 2 for PTR. Castio walks away with 1, and Shift trying to walk away on top with all of this. Stars gets eliminated. INS get eliminated. A triple kill for Castio, and that is so many players gone all at once.
Stars being eliminated. This is what Savages needed. Savages have the chance now to win this. If Savages just get a high placement, they can actually look to take that number 1 spot, which would be ridiculous. And now, as well, look at XS. They're just rolling with it. They are insane. Yeah. They are so many kills out of nowhere, almost guaranteeing them right now
Great Wall,
this top 7 position. And Great Wall being put in a very bit of a rock and a hard place. They're going to try and make some plays happen. They do get those 4 kills, but now they are inside the house in a rough spot. But XS, just as I was saying it, oh, I've cursed it. I've cursed it. I'm so sorry.
Xsec get eliminated, or X-Shooter get eliminated. Savage get eliminated. And that is going to be Great Wall, who knew they couldn't stay on top of that mansion, dropping down for that space a lot earlier than last time, taking control of that opportunity, and now looking to see if they can turn it around for that finish today to end strong against INS in that 4th or maybe even 3rd spot. So many teams at the top are gone, and this is their chance to rise.
Yeah, I mean, so many teams at this top level have been eliminated. Icon's actually having their best placement so far. Don't know if it's enough, but at the same time, Shift's still here. We still have so many of, like, the teams that are fighting for those top 7s right now. I think the highest ranking team that's still alive is Great Wall. And honestly, if they're able to get a lot more kills, they might be able to turn this around, and they might be able to even try and take that number 1 spot away with a very, very big clan. I'm not sure how possible it is. And right now, they are getting gunned down by Shift. Shift do not want to give them the opportunity to do this. Shift need those kills. There we go. Big kill. PTR coming through, taking on that down, that sniper shot coming in large. Now 5 teams remaining, only 19 people left. There's not really any heals left, so this is going to be the final plays. No more revives. Now Shift trying to make these plays. Shift's going to fall down. Mayex not going to be able to survive that one. Coming around the corner, continuing to push all across the board. Great Wall losing 2 players down now. They're getting back up, but they're having to run at the same time. Storm's trying to move in. All these teams getting into these very, very similar situations. We've lost 3 players. 1 team's gone down to 5 teams remaining. This is so chaotic. This is so close to each other.
Oh, but PXL with the thumper comes around and finishes off Shift, who get knocked out. And that's going to leave 4 teams left. Great Wall with 8 eliminations and at least a 4th place finish. Teams down low fighting the leaders, going up against one other. It is going to be Predator GG fighting for this spacing down towards the bottom of this hill. Predator GG with the building team leaders, or the leaders with the armory in their control. So this is going to lead in towards something chaotic for sure. With the Liquid being a little bit separated, I'm not favoring them for this at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, right now, though, Great Wall also in a really, really rough spot as they are constantly, it feels like, being attacked by everyone. I mean, I feel like they're being targeted to some extent, but look, this is just now PTR getting more and more and more as they get kill after kill after kill. Right now, GW trying to continue to push up. 4 teams remaining now. Nox going to come through. GW still alive. Still in this one.
Oh,
Nagaba
no.
on the side. Playing as a team. Triple kill coming down for Venom, which is going to really open up PTR now. Predator GG getting their best spot yet, but are going to fall down in that 4th place. Now GW on 10 elims. Can they try and turn it into more? Can they try and turn this into a win out of nowhere? Taichi trying to push for those kills. Walls after walls are coming down. People are just trying to stay alive. Nagaba still have quite a few members alive. GW continuing to go on this onslaught, on this push. They seem in so much control right now. Nagaba having to move out, having to move away from that storm. The shots are going to start coming through. GW getting those, landing a few right now. Tried to as well confirm that number 2 spot, but Nagaba do not want to give it up. Nagaba are in it to win it. GW now continuing trying to push it. Nades coming in through. Bear in mind, there's still 3 teams remaining. Nagaba in a very rough spot. GW still trying to close this out, but it's so close.
Nagaba gets another one. Great Wall down to 2 members. 1 member of the leader is going to fall, so that's 2 left. Tupac gonna trade things out. Tupac is to fall down. 2 versus 2 between both of these members. It's anyone's game at the moment with the goo wall blocking both of them. Killing spree for Tupac, and here he comes with the shotgun. Tupac's gonna put this one away, or no? Nagaba still alive. It's a 2 versus 1 for the win. Can they get it done? Legendary for Tupac, and they win it out. Great Wall take game number 5. With 8 kills at a PXL for the MVP Booyah.
What an unbelievable finish from Great Wall. They did everything they needed to do to have a chance at that number 1 spot, but we just have to wait and see if they're able to pull that one through, because that was huge. I think that was I think it was 15 maybe kills, maybe even more, because at the end they just went crazy. They hadn't had a single elimination while they were on top of the house, dropped down, got 4, and killed off almost every single team in that final 5 to claim the number 1 spot, which is a insane amount of points. This is what Battle Royales are meant for. This is what the point system is made for these huge comebacks to happen. And right now, this scoreboard must be looking like a completely different world to what we saw before. I'm so excited to see what it's going to be.
As am I, my friend. But, I mean, 5 games up, 5 games down, Miwa. Was this everything you could have hoped for?
I mean, everything I could hope for and more. We saw love and loss. We saw Stars take 2 boyas at the start, looking like they were going to clean it out and go 5 for 5, to just suddenly fall off so badly in those last 2 games. And yes, they had a lot of kills, but the placement positions weren't so good. Savage is almost looking like they were going to pull through and win it. And then Great Wall from 4th place out of nowhere to look like proper contenders. This is all you could have ever asked for, I think, out of this series after game 2.
I couldn't agree more. And things that, you know, us as casters, you as viewers now need to start thinking about. I mean, Miwa, you think back towards that game number 5. OLYMPIA go down so earlier, 2nd or 3rd place team. Going down early means that Savages, they have that feeling that, hey, we don't have to worry about OLYMPIA. Now we just need to worry about Stars. Stars put up at least 8 eliminations in that game, but they don't get a good placing. Savage go a little bit beyond that. I'm not sure if they got the eliminations and the placing to back them up to overtake that 1st place spot. So I'm pretty sure 1st, 2nd, and 3rd might be set in stone for now. But then you think about what is next. Just below them in that 4th place spot, it was the Great Wall sitting with a couple of great games, a couple of okay games, never getting that placement to really back them up, and they get it done with so many eliminations. Is it enough for them to overtake and climb in towards a late resurgence for those placings? Send so many opportunities for so many teams throughout this 5th game. I'm so impressed that nobody really slowed down going into this last map. Everybody was just keeping on pace for some hot contested action.
Yeah, it felt like in that last game, they threw everything they had in excess as well to get so many stars here. You can see they were on 10 elims at least towards the end, so I feel like they might have secured that top spot. That's a lot of elims to have to not secure that top spot, especially because GW weren't super close. So I mean, it's going to be close. I reckon there's going to be maybe 5 points maximum between these two teams here, and you can see in those highlights how well Great Wall played towards the end of that. And is it going to be enough? They played, I probably would say, one of the more consistent teams across all of the games that we saw today.
Yeah, and a couple others we got to talk about in that late game as well. I totally agree. Great Wall, their consistency is shining kind of above the rest. That is why they are the Great Wall. They get to stand up tall exactly like that. And they do it together, just staying alive and weathering so many storms that came after them throughout that last rotation into the late circle. But the leaders, they were also there sitting in the armory. They get a 3rd place finish. Nagaba, they get a 2nd place finish. 2 teams that were fighting for that 7th and 6th place qualifier spot going into the monthly finals. 2 teams that we're going to have to keep our eyes out to see if they did enough to push in towards those 6th and 7th places and hold their spot, because Shift was also fighting for that one. I think Icons were also there fighting for it. So many teams were fighting for that 6th and 7th place spot that were still alive towards the end, Miwa. So the opportunities of placements for who's going to qualify or who's going to qualify into that monthly final, I got no idea. I don't know who did it. We're going to have to wait till the scoreboard's tallied up, everybody. And once it is, I think that we're going to have a little bit of a better understanding. And it looks like here's the scoreboard for Bermuda. We can see how teams fell down. And yeah, Olympia's all the way down in 14th place. Savages in 12th place. And Stars get 7th place finish with 11 points. That should put Stars in 1st place.
Yeah, I think that does cement Stars in 1st place. But I mean, I don't know how far behind Great Wall was. I was actually one of the teams I genuinely just don't remember the score from. Leaders, though, Predator GG having a really poor series, and then to suddenly take a 3rd from that is unbelievable. Really, it's actually a joint 2nd. Shooters maybe pushing themselves into a better position. Same with Shift as well. I think some of the teams that might be really struggling to say those top 7 is something like Rebels, INS maybe even, and Fantastic Four especially. Definitely, maybe, almost definitely not going to be contenders moving forward.
I think INS are set. I think they're good. I'm not 100% confirmed, but I would say I'm like about 60 to 70% sure that they're good. I think that they did enough in the last couple of maps that this one was like a write-off for them. They just had to do a little bit, and that should put them in. But, you know, with the performances that we do see from 2 to 6 right here, who knows? Because Rebels and Fantastic Four were all teams that were dancing around that 7th place as well. They have poor maps here with no eliminations for Rebels, but a little bit of placing for that. They get 4 points. Fantastic Four, they get 5 in total. Icon, I don't think 8 is enough to get them in there, but Nagba, they could do it. Shift should be in, because they were sitting in that 8th or 7th and 8th place too. So 15 points should be good for them. Shooters, Leaders, Fantastic Four, I think those are the teams that I'm a little bit unsure about. Maybe even Nagaba could make that last chance for it. I think that we have 6 teams that are a sure thing. I should think Shift joins them with INS. But for that last 7th spot, we get to wonder who it will be. But for now, we get to talk about our champions, Stars DZ, from back-to-back booyahs. They win it all. They get the 1st place, and they qualify for that monthly finals with a lot of confidence behind them.
I mean, it was such an unbelievably strong start. I think it was almost impossible, really, to say that they weren't going to get it. So hats off to them. Those first 2 games were ridiculous, and they played very well past that with really high kills. And here we go, scores on the doors, with Great Wall surprisingly being low, a lot lower than I thought they would. And our qualifiers: Stars, Savages, Olympia, Great Wall, Leaders, Shift, INS, and then Nagaba 1 point behind. X-Shooters 2 points behind that. And then Rebels, Fantastic Four, Black PP, Predator GG, Icon, and Arc Team being the ones that are going to be eliminated. And wow, that is close.
Yeah, just taking a look back at their tournament roadmap that we do have for this one, 7 teams will be qualifying here to our monthly finals qualifier number 2. We'll have 15 teams in total there. 8 teams from the open qualifier will have to battle out, and from Nagaba and down, those teams are going to have to run it back. And yeah, it sure was close. Nagaba 1 point away from tying an INS for that spot. It would have been down to placement points after that. Shooters 2 points away, or 3 points away from INS, and below that a little bit more of a drop off to Rebels with 35. I mean, Rebels, they had a great game number 4, okay number 5, and some consistent games here and there. But shout out to our top 7 teams: INS, Shift, the Leaders, Great Wall, Olympia, Savages, and Stars DZ. I'm looking forward to seeing them in that monthly finals. They put on one hell of a show today, Miwa.
Yeah, they really did. They showed so much raw skill, and also in, I think, the Leaders' case especially, I think they showed a lot of consistency. We never saw the Leaders at the top of the boards, but we never saw them at the bottom either, which I think is one of the most important parts, especially playing this kind of format. So hats off to them. And I mean, for that last game to go like that, and for the leaderboards to end so similarly, really, to what it was previous to that, is kind of surprising. And honestly, though, we still have to say fantastic job to some of the teams that are in this bottom 7, especially the teams like Rebels, who actually were able to get a booyah, but just struggled the other few games to really be able to turn it around. That they was just shy as well. They were only 10 points off being able to make it, which is so close. And I think, honestly, across the board, we've seen some fantastic free fire today.
We see, I mean, you think about X-Shooters and Nagaba Esports, and 2 of those teams who had that chance at the end there to win it. Nagaba, if they got that booyah at the end, they would be in the monthly finals right now. But a second place finish, they lose out to the Great Wall, and the Great Wall shut them down. And they give INS that chance to once again try for playoffs now in that monthly finals. INS, they need to go send some messages over to the Great Wall and thank them, because Great Wall just gave them an opportunity to continue on in this tournament and not have to go through the open bracket, not have to go for the Invitational yet again. And yeah, I mean, those couple of those teams just outside of the qualifiers, meanwhile, you know, 1 or 2 things goes their way, a little bit of luck in your favor, and you also could be in the monthly finals. I think that is just leading to what could be a fantastic open qualifier as well, and a really close contention monthly final that we're kind of ready to see towards the end. But we have to talk about these teams who won it out. I know we had prize pool for the top 6. So as we get, you know, the prize pool to be talked about, I think it was, I want to say it was 1,200 for the first team who wins it. It was, no, 500 for the first team who wins it, 1,500 in total, 1,300 in cash, and 200 worth of Arena Esports points. So when we bring up this prize pool, we can break down who's going to get what. But a big congratulations to Stars DZ, who we know is confirmed to get that first place total of $500 split across the 4 of them.
Yeah, I mean, like, it was fantastic. It was absolutely glorious to watch. And I think, honestly, I think we've still got so much more to see from these teams. I think we've still got so much more to see.
I agree.
And yes, they get these rewards now, but I think we've probably got to see a lot more, especially from the teams that came between that sort of 5 and 7 spot, being the Leaders, being INS, and who's the last one? I've already forgotten. I've already missed out. But the sort of 5 to 7 areas, I think, is the Shift. There you go. Yeah, the teams that we really want to see a lot more from, because they did show some really good potential in some areas, but I still feel like they have a lot to learn to get to the consistency of a team like Olympia.
No, I totally agree with you with that sense. I think there's a lot of teams that really showed a lot of great moments today, and I think that's something to look forward to for the next time that we see these teams on stream. When that monthly final does come, I'm sure you're going to see a lot of those teams that got, you know, 8th or 7th and 6th looking for some revenge because it seems like INS had a great end to the tournament, but I think their start to the tournament was a little bit okay. And if these teams can go back, watch over these games, recognize one or two things that they did wrong, fix those mistakes, and then go into the monthly finals, they very well could be seeing themselves punch their ticket over towards the grand finals inside of these monthly qualifiers right away, because you can't forget that the number one team out of the monthly finals auto qualifiers for the LAN at the end of the tournament.
Yeah, which is huge, which is absolutely massive. And I suppose we'll just have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see which teams are really going to be able to push that, because I still think there's a huge way to go, I suppose. But regardless, it has been an honor casting with you, Seymour. And I do apologize for coming a little bit later, but it was a fantastic 5 maps to watch with you.
Had a great time. I think if there's one thing that we could always expect when you jump on a mic, especially with somebody new, gameplay is something that you want to see, and allow you to just kind of sit there and enjoy, sit back and have fun together. We had a great time on the desk. The action was so fun to watch. Casting alongside you was a great time, Miwa, and I couldn't ask for a better co-caster to go through with this second invitational. I look forward to hopefully the next one, but I look forward to also seeing a couple of these teams yet again, because the monthly finals is going to be so contested.
It really is, but I think that is going to be it from us. Thank you as well very much to the production as well, and the viewers for tuning in and watching through these very competitive games. But that's going to be it from us. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you all later.
I've got to run through
just breathe.